What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's coming in the few. Shout out to all my subscribers, my commenters. Do me a favor, as soon as you guys pop in, please hit the like button in the description box. I greatly appreciate that. So before I continue even further, I would like to see if my sound levels are okay. Alright, sounds good. All right, so let's get into it. All right, let's see. Got one viewer coming in so far. Many others is going to follow. Got three. Great. So let's get to it. Let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about the amazing fight card that we had last night. Shout out to Chill Zuh. What's going on? It's the champ. I'm the real champ. What's going on, man? What's going on here? I promise you this is going to be pretty, won't be a lengthy hangout, maybe about an hour or two. Maybe get a couple guys in here to chime in. So let's talk about it. Let's get down to it. The fight that I forgot to mention in the chat is Paul Butler. No, not Paul Butler. I'm sorry. Lee Selby versus Josh Warrington. And I must say, it was the fight took place in Scotland, I believe, and that's in Josh Warrington's backyard. Lee Selby defending his IBF crown for the bantamweight division. I'm not bantamweight. I'm sorry. Featherweight. Yeah, featherweight division. He was coming in as the IBF featherweight champion, and whatnot. It actually wasn't in Scotland. It was in Leeds. It was in Leeds. I'm sorry, Leeds, England. That was in Warrington's backyard. A crowd of over 20,000, maybe a little bit under 30,000 were there to see Warrington compete in a football stadium, which is good, which is okay. And all I got to say is that, wow, Warrington beat the crap out of Lee Selby in that fight. I mean, I got to give it to Selby, though, because he took some monstrous shots by Warrington. I'm surprised his chin was holding up against those monstrous shots. And it was one point in the fight where the referee stopped to halt the action to take a look at Selby because he was taking a beating. And the fact is that he was cut severely, and there was a debate in the corner whether the fight should be stopped. But Lee Selby's corner was really against that, the idea of that fight being stopped. It's like, no, he's the champion. You should give him the benefit of the doubt. Just paraphrasing what the corner was saying, but yeah, it was pretty much a one-sided beatdown. That was a massacre. But the one thing I have to say, there was controversy at the end of the fight. Josh Warrington did become the winner, rightfully so, but the scorecards was atrocious. One judge scored it 115-113 for Selby. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on here. How does Selby even, I mean, I just can't understand where exactly did he win 7 rounds in that fight? Because I only gave him no more than 2 rounds in that fight, if I'm being generous to him, because he got beat thoroughly in that fight. I mean, you want to talk about some hometown cooking right there. That was, not exactly Selby's hometown, but still, it's like, whoa, 115-113 for Selby? Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, it was a split decision. Warrington definitely was the rightful winner, but still, though, that was definitely something going on there with that scorecard. 115-113, wow. But overall, it was very high-packed. No, sorry, it was a very good action-packed fight. But, obviously Josh Warrington dominated, completely beat the crap out of Selby. And, in all fairness to Selby, he's a very good fighter. This was considered a very significant upset because Warrington was definitely a significant underdog in that fight. People were questioning whether he was ready for this fight or not against Selby. I know he's had, several, a lot of good fights, whatnot. Well, actually not good fights. I always say, what's the word I'm looking for? He's had some step-up fights in a way, like with likes of Kiko Martinez, whatnot, and Dennis Salon. But the fact is that, people were questioning whether he was ready for the Selby fight. And, I mean, I don't know. The fact is that he did come through. He is the rightful winner. But I will say is that, yeah, where does he go from here? We could see him go up against the likes of, going to get to the next fight. But congratulations to Josh Warrington. The next bantamweight fight that was on the card that night, well, not in England, obviously, but on the fight schedule was Gary Russell Jr. versus Jojo Diaz. And Jojo Diaz was the mandatory for the WBC title. Very good fight from the start to the end. Russell Jr. definitely was a clear winner, but it was very competitive in most cases in that fight because Jojo Diaz definitely looked like the bigger man between the two. I mean, he was really, really massive, a very big featherweight in there against. He looked like he was a welterweight go up against Russell Jr. And all I got to say is that Diaz did show some good skills. He did show some, did show some grit. He was a bit crude, but he did show some technicality because in that fight he was hitting Russell Jr. with some ferocious body shots. What's going on, Rock? What's going on, man? He was hitting Russell with some ferocious body shots in there, and I thought Russell was going to go down. I mean, from those body shots, was brutal. But to credit to Russell, he took them extremely well. He absorbed those shots like it didn't really have an effect on him. But those shots were brutal. You could hear the sound of those shots like it was the sound of a gun by Diaz. He was really trying to break Russell down to the body. But Russell, showed his his ring IQ and expertise. He showed his hand speed, his multiple combinations, and he showed some bit of a body attack as well. So that way he could counter Diaz's attack. The one thing I gotta say is that Russell. No, not so Russell. Russell didn't really make too many mistakes other than he kept his hands down low and he tried to, really try to load up on the shots against Diaz. And I thought that was going to be a big mistake because I thought he was going to tire out a bit. But he got a second win back. He showed his grit. He showed his tenacity, and he showed his heart as a champion. And he pulled it through. Diaz, all credit to him. He's definitely going to be a player at 126. But the one thing about Diaz is that he doesn't move his head. That's going to be detrimental to him if he don't show any hand movement, and he got to show some bit of reflexes because I didn't see any in that fight against Gary Russell, any at all. Yeah, I must say very good fight. I scored it 116, 112. The rifle score, that was the score I got. I gave 4 rounds in that fight. I think the judges scored it 117, 111 for Russell. I believe I have to go back and check the scorecards, but Russell was definitely the rifle winner. Where does he go from here? Hopefully we get him in a unification bout against Josh Warrington. That would be a very interesting fight. And the thing about Russell is that he has been criticized for the lack of opposition, for his lack of opposition. I mean, yes, he fought Johnny Gonzalez and beat him for the title. Okay, that's a good win, but Johnny Gonzalez was shot over the hill when he fought him. Okay, that's one thing we got to point that out. Okay, and since Russell's had that title, he literally hasn't really defended it that much, so that's just one bit of criticism yet you have to give to Gary Russell, for not really defending his title. But now he got the Jojo Diaz win. I would say though, you know what? I would definitely, I definitely think he needs. Yeah, that was a very good live body for him per se, a very fresh live body, I should say, a prime body like Diaz. Let's get him in there against Warrington. Both undefeated fighters at featherweight. Why not? Let's get him in there against Diaz, and then let's get him in there against who else? The other featherweights. So you got Mars versus Leo Santa Cruz. They're going to fight for the. I think they fight for the WBA title. So we'll see. Well, let's see if that with the end result of that fight. But definitely let's see Russell in there against those other two guys. I would favor him against Mars. I would favor him against Leo Santa Cruz, and I would favor him against Sam Warrington. So those are fights that can be made. Those are definitely good fights that can be made. So let's make that happen. What's going on, Charlie Brown? NBT, what's happening, bro? He says I can't be on here long, Dan, but I got to say this. How you like the irony with Low Place calling Ward a dirty fighter, yet his favorite two fighters were low blowing the hell out of each other and holding excessively? Yep, that's a good point. Yeah, okay, Rock, I'll give you a link, man. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that's a very good point because when we were commentating that night, Low wasn't really. I mean, he was calling the low blows, but he wasn't saying that those guys were fighting dirty because they were really wrestling each other, especially Badu Jack. He was wrestling. He was holding and wrestling Adonis Stevenson to the ropes on like madness. I mean, that's what you have to do in a fight is jostle for position. That's why I've been explaining to him for a long time. You gotta when people are holding against each other, you're jostling for position. But yet when Jack and Stevenson are doing that, then it's okay. When they were low blowing the hell out of each other. Well, Bob Jack was the one who was low blowing the fuck out of Stevenson. And Stevenson was doing the same thing to some degree. But yeah, they were both jostling for position that night. So that's called boxing. It's always been that way. I like to hear Low say that shit too. It's like, well, that's boxing. Well, yeah, okay. If you're gonna say that's boxing, then why is it that you give Andre Ward a fucking hard time when he was doing the same fucking thing? You know, but I would like to get him on here for him to explain that shit. But it is what it is. Okay, double standards, Charlie Brown. What's going on, Charlie? Yeah, it is a double standard on his part, man. If you're going to sit there and criticize Ward for that, why wouldn't you criticize Stevenson-Jack for that? I mean, you know, us boxing fans, we really don't mind that because that's part of boxing. Yeah, I'm not saying low blows should be permitted. What I'm saying is that it's a fight. Things are going to happen. And yet Andre Ward gets singled out as the dirty fighter. I'm like, this is fucking madness. I mean, look at what Stevenson and Jack were doing. I mean, Stevenson was low blow guys in fights when he was in tough fights against guys like Fafar. So, I mean, hitting behind the back of the head, he was doing the same shit. So it is what it is, man, you know? Double standards at best. But speaking of Stevenson-Jack, let's get into that real quickly, man. I gotta say is I'll give Low Place credit for one thing. That was a damn good fight. I knew it was gonna be a good fight, but as far as fight of the decade, maybe Low Place can make an argument about that because that could be listed one of the best fights of the decade. Who knows? That was a damn good fight. Very slow start from Badu Jack. I gotta say this. Very, very slow start. Something I did not expect him to do, but I could see why he had that slow start because I think the game plan is that, and I called it right. This is exactly what happened. Badu Jack's game plan was to wait for Stevenson to tire out in the later rounds. Let him spend his energy. Let him load up on his shots. So that way you see that he's fatiguing. He's about to be in for the taking. Because here's the thing about Stevenson. Stevenson has, when he gets into later rounds of fights, he tends to gas out and his stamina seems to be in question. We saw that in the Fafara fight, and we've seen that against the first Fafara fight, and we've seen that in the Taguchi-Budler fight as well. So that was the strategy there. And then what happened was when Stevenson started to fatigue, Badu Jack started to load up and hit him with some monster shots. Credit Stevenson, his chin held up. But I got to say one thing. Stevenson got beat the fuck up. He got hit so many times that's the unusual see Adonis Stevenson get hit like that. Obviously, that has something to do with the fact that his level of opposition over the years and his inactivity came into play, of course, of his age. But the fact is that he really got beat up badly in there. I mean, he showed heart. He showed grit as a champion. Got to give him credit for that. His nose was busted up pretty badly. His mouth was busted up pretty badly. He showed a little. There's a little bit of scars on his face. Some bit of scars, not too many, but they're not too visible on his face. But he did have some scars there. He got battered badly by Badu Jack. And all fairness to Stevenson, he hit Badu Jack with some ferocious body shots that hurt Jack in the 9th round, I think, or the 8th round, with a straight left to the body that really caved Jack in. It looked like Jack was going to get knocked down, go down in that round, but Jack stood away. He recovered, went back to business, but it was a very, very tough competitive fight for both men. I could see it why it was scored a draw because Badu Jack gave away he really gave away the first 5-6 rounds. I did score at least 2 of those 6 rounds for Badu Jack. So if you do that, and the fact that he dominated the second half of that fight, and I gave 1 round to Stevenson in that second half, I scored a 7-5 for Jack. I thought Jack won that fight, but I could see it a draw because the judge scored it a majority draw. 2 judges scored it 114-114, and 1 judge scored it 115-113 for Badu Jack. So I had him winning that fight, but a draw is a very good call. And the fact that Jack and Floyd get up there saying that they were robbed, I mean, if they believe that, that's fine, but there was no robbery. No. The mistake they made is that they waited too long for to put the foot on the gas. I think what Badou Jack should have done is that if he wanted to steal those, if he could at least sold those early rounds by hitting some 8-10 piece combinations like he did in the mid round in the later of the fight against Stevenson. Of course, the game plan was to wait for Stevenson to slow down, but I think they waited too long for that to happen. They should have went in and took care of him in the 4th round, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. So I think that definitely a good fight. Does it warrant a rematch? Absolutely. Stevenson said he wants it. Badou Jack definitely wants a rematch. I think they should go ahead and make that happen. But to be honest with you guys, the way I see Stevenson performing there, oh man, his age definitely showed. It showed it there because I'm now worried about whether he could compete with these young guns at light heavyweight right now, man, because it's not due to the fact that he's aged, but it also is due to the fact that he hasn't really been active over the years. And the fact is that he really got battered by Badou Jack. He took a beating. And if I were him, I'm going to have to reassess my decision whether I want that rematch or not, because that right there was brutal. He took a brutal beating in there. You can't deny that. If you're a Stevenson fan, you have to admit that he took a beating against Badou Jack. He took a brutal beating. Something I never thought that would happen. It don't get me wrong. I picked Stevenson to win that fight. Shout out to Dwayne Jones. And Dwayne knows it too. Dwayne and Mr. Doc, what's going on, Mr. Doc? I mean, I picked Stevenson to win that fight, but I scored it for Jack. But he took a beating. That's something I didn't expect. He took a brutal beating. And I think the mistake he made was that he did not box from long range, which he had success doing in the early rounds. Box from long range. But what he did is that he was dragging to that fight that Badou Jack wanted, is to keep the fight from the inside, because that's the only fight that Jack can win. Jack cannot box from long range pretty well. I mean, he could box. He's a boxer puncher, but he's not really good at long range. And Stevenson made the mistake by being dragged into that. So, but I think it was also part to the fact that his stamina cave in on him. He really tired out after the 4th or 5th round, or maybe the 5th round. He tired out. So, Black Latin sees what's going on, man. So let's look at the chat. Let's look at the comments here. Let me see. Sadly, NBT, I had Stevenson win it. Fair enough. But I had Jack win that fight. Chilzo said he had Stevenson win it. But it was a close fight, man. I think, yeah, it was just that he really, really took a beating, though. Dwayne Jones says, I watched the fight on Sky Sports commentary. It was so biased towards Jack. They were saying Jack won the first 2 rounds. Nah, yeah, I agree with you on that one, Dwayne. I don't know what fight that Sky Sports was watching, but no way in hell that Badou Jack won the first 2 rounds. I gave him round 3. And I gave him maybe round 5, but I scored the first 5 rounds ahead of Stevenson, in my opinion. Where's Low Place? Don't worry, I'm gonna get him on here. He's gonna have to explain himself. Why the hell was he justifying the holding and the low blows and all that shit, the wrestling and jostling in that fight between Stevenson and Jack, but now yet you give RJ Ward a hard time for doing that shit. So I would like for him to explain himself on that one. Yeah, Dwayne Jones says that Stevenson blew his load in the 5th and 6th round. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Because again, when you take Stevenson in the later rounds, he does gas out. His conditioning and his endurance is always coming to question. We saw that in the Bika fight. We saw that in the first Bonfara fight when he was gassing the hell out in those 2 fights. So, and Low Place even denied that too. And if you look into that fight against Badou Jack, we saw what happened. And Low Place even admit that Stevenson was gassing out. So it's like, come on, dude. I even told you that in those 2 fights when he was gassing out against Bika and Fafar in the first fight. So yeah, like I said, man, Stevenson's gonna have to really figure out what he wants to do now. I know he said he wants to rematch. I commend him for saying that, but at the same time, I'm sure this is he's giving it a second thought. I know his fiance is probably talking to him right now and saying, look, babe, you're gonna have to retire because you took a beating. You had heart, but you're 40 years old. Do you really need this? You made a lot of money, you invested pretty well. So do you really need this right now? I mean, if I'm Stevenson, I might have to consider retiring. I mean, I would love to see rematch, but part of me says that, you know what, man, you're 40 years old. I mean, you showed a lot of heart, but I don't know if you could compete against young guys like Jack at the moment. Hell, I don't think you really could. I mean, you could be competitive against Bivol. I just don't. Or Baturia, for God's sake. Somebody, Kovalev, I don't know. Kovalev's been beat already. So maybe that'd be a more winnable fight for him. But at this time, Baturia, Bivol, Marcus Brown, I mean, I don't know, man. And you got Alexander Vosnik, who's actually the WBC mandated the winner of that fight to fight Vosnik. So I don't know, man. Stevenson's going to have to figure this out, man. I really think he should just hang it up for the sake of his health. I really think he should, because he definitely looked like he was 40 years old in that fight tonight. I agree with Hatman Strikes Back on that, because I think he really looked old in that fight. I mean, yeah, let me see. Mr. Doc says, MBT, I'll never have anything on that first judge in the first Duran and Leonard fight. Well, yeah. MBT says 95% of the people scorecards were a draw or 7-5 either way. In a fight, it was a clear draw. You got people still claiming robbery. Yeah, I know. And, some people said, though, and there's another poll that I thought that came up too, MBT, was that 70% believe, I think it was a Showtime poll, 70% believe that Badou Jack won that fight, while like 20-something% believe Stevenson won it. So, I mean, look, polls are polls, but if you look at it another way, most would argue that was a close fight. It's kind of similar to the Kovalev Award first fight. And many people will argue that was a very close fight, could have gone either way. And if you ask the people who felt that Kovalev got robbed, right? I've asked many people, how'd you score the fight? 7-5 for Kovalev. Okay, then how the hell you call that a robbery then? Because, I mean, how you going to score that in a robbery? You admit that was a close fight by scoring it 7-5. I mean, that makes no fucking sense. It really makes no sense. I guess because of the knockdown, that's the end-all, be-all. I mean, seriously, people. Seriously, come on now. Black Lad C said, I think Barrera could give him hell. I'm not sure about Barrera. The thing about Barrera is that he's been chinny. And those lefts, let's take Jack out of there, put Barrera in there. Those left hands that Stevenson was landing on Jack, particularly to the body, I'm not sure if Russell Barrera would really will really hold up to those lefts to the body. I mean, because give all credit to Stevenson, he was throwing some wicked body shots to try to slow down Badou Jack, because he realized his left hand on the top of the head wasn't really landing on Jack, because Jack had that high guard, so it was difficult for him to land it on the top of the head. So he had to go to the body with it. So it is what it is on that one. Jack has bronchitis, doesn't let his hands go enough. Mr. Doc, that's a good point. Yeah, that's always a slow start. That's a good point, because he made that mistake against James Zagel. Let's not forget, he made that mistake against James Zagel. And the fact that he got knocked down in that early round, too, that was another thing, too. And to be honest with you, I thought it was a draw. I scored that fight for draw. It was rightfully so in that fight. But the thing about Badou Jack is that in his big fights, he seems to always get draws, man. I'm like, man, how long is it going to continue for the guy? I know some people are going to question that he doesn't really come through with big fights if this is going to continue to happen. Not saying he doesn't perform well in those big fights, but it's like in these big fights, even with the Boutte fight, even though that fight got rescinded as a win for Jack because Boutte failed the drug test, but still though. But let's be honest though, he was a clear winner in that fight, and that was a clear robbery from the decision of the fact that they ruled that a draw, but then again, Boutte got disqualified for the drug test. But still, though, it seems like, dude, this is like how many draws he's had so far on his record? 3 draws, one against Marco Antonio Parabon in a step-up fight, and then DeGale, and then you have Stevenson. Ugh. Some people are going to question that. It's like, okay, I think if I were Jack, we're going to have to stop. I'm going to have to start early. Real talk. I'm going to have to start very, very, very early going forward, and not let these guys get off in the early rounds. Because, again, I think his whole strategy is to wait for these guys to tire out, let them load up on those shots, and then he's going to pick them apart in the later rounds. I think from going forward, he's going to have to steal those early rounds and then pick them apart in the later rounds. That's what Badou Jack's going to have to do. All right, Charlie, I'm going to send the link. Give me a second. Let me get my take in real quickly, y'all. Be patient. All right. Now, as far as the other fight, yeah, I agree, Mr. Doc. He's got to stop blaming the judges. He got to blame himself for like starting too late. Now, as far as the other fight that nobody's talking about, which is the mini flyweight title bout between Ryochi Taguchi versus Taguchi-Budler. That was a very good fight in Japan. Very, 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 very good fight. I definitely had Butler win the fight because Taguchi really was behind the cards. He was desperate to score a knockout, I should say. But he did score a knockdown in the last round, the 12th round, with a very good left hook in the inside on Butler. But the referee ruled it a slip. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold up. I looked at the replay again. That was a clear knockdown. He ruled it a slip. But when I looked at the cards, all three judges scored it 114, 113 for Butler. I'm not sure where that extra point came from, but maybe that was the knockdown that they scored on the card, or they felt that Taguchi dominated that last round where they scored a 10-8. So I guess that's where they were going off by. But definitely Butler was a rightful winner. And I know Nyota saying that's the fight of the night, but I'm not sure about that, Nyota. I know Nyota's a bit biased for the little guys, but Stevenson-Jack was definitely the fight of the night, in my opinion. Definitely fight of the night. And don't get me wrong, Taguchi and Butler was a very good fight. Very damn good fight, but nobody's talking about. But, yeah, I mean, does it warrant a rematch? Absolutely. But if it doesn't, the rematch doesn't come to play, I would like to see Butler in a unification bout against Acosta, and definitely a unification bout against Kenshiru. But I would favor both of those guys to beat Butler at this point. Don't get me wrong, Butler's very good, especially in the inside, because he can't really box from long range. But what I did see, he's very good at the body punching, because in one round, I think it was the 5th round, where he hit Taguchi with like 8 straight unanswered punches to the body. I was like, whoa, when's the last time you seen that? I mean, seriously, But it was a very good fight for the mini flyweights that no one's really talking about. It should get some coverage. But, I mean, I definitely want to see the rematch between Taguchi and Butler. I think it should happen, but if it doesn't happen, definitely get a unification bout between Ken Shinru and or Angel Acosta. Or you put him in there against Carlos Canizales, but Carlos Canizales is tied up against he's got a fight coming up against Lou Bibb for the regular WBA title, which is a low tier title, which nobody really gives a damn about. But some people want to, obviously want to, move the goalposts and say that title matters when it comes to certain fighters, but it is what it is. Gray Drake wants to know I wonder what low place to take on Stevenson-Jack. Yeah. I'll get him on here. I want him to explain exactly why is it that he's giving those guys a benefit of the doubt when they're wrestling and justling each other, holding the hell out of each other in that fight, and low blowing the fuck out of each other. But yet Andre Ward fucking gets singled out as a dirty fighter. Yet Andre Ward doesn't have a history of being a dirty fighter. Yes, his style is rough. It is rough. It is rugged. But the fact is that he doesn't have a history of being a low blower. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Now, another thing I want to talk about real quickly. I'm not going to talk about it with you guys because this thing is just getting dragged out. I did see other channels still focusing on it, but to me, it's no point until the fight gets made. It's Joshua and Wilder. I'll talk about that real briefly because I put out a video where there was multiple sources confirming that the fight was a done deal for the end of this year. It's going to take place in Vegas. And then some people, especially some UK uploaders, were very upset about that because they felt that way. Hey, wait a minute. We're the champion. We worked hard to the A-side status. Why can't we have the fight here in the UK? Well, I'm not living in the UK, but, here in the UK. But I can see where they're coming from. But what I'd like to know is why is it that they're okay with Joshua going to New York to fight Big Baby Miller, which was the initial plan, but yet they're not okay with Joshua to go to fight Wilder in Vegas. I don't understand that logic. So I don't know. I really don't understand that. But anyways, me personally, I don't give a damn where the fight happens. If it happens, it happens, okay? But there's another report that came out that, Steven Espinoza, according to a story, I think Michael Benson reported this. He said, according to Steven Espinoza, someone's close to him, Steven Espinoza indicated that fight is going to happen in the United States. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Eddie Hearn indicated on Twitter that that's not going to happen. So there's a lot of back and forth going on between this situation. All I know is that I don't care at this point. Until they announce it's official, then I will go ahead and report it from there because this thing is getting out of hand. It may, at first I thought, okay, maybe it's going to happen later this year. But then again, based off what I'm hearing now, it's going to happen in 2019, as I initially have said. So I mean, I don't care at this point. Just get the fight made, man. I don't care at this point until these guys start fight each other or start. That's it. That's it. I'm done with this talk as of today. I'm really done with it because it just doesn't. I mean, whatever. Okay. If you have the chance to insist on going ahead and reporting this, go ahead. But I'll advise those guys to stop making those videos until they announce the fight. In my opinion, until they announce a fight. If you're gonna make any videos on Joshua Wilder, I suggest you make videos when they have a fight coming up. That's all I gotta say. Now that's it. Moving on to Tyson Fury, and I'll bring the guys in. Tyson Fury's got an opponent now. Let me look up the name of the opponent so I'll give you my thoughts on it. The guy that he's gonna fight is his name is Safir Safari. Never heard of the guy. Obviously, we all knew he was going to be Tyson Fury's going to fight an unknown because he has been out of the ring for nearly 3 years. So he definitely's got to have some tune-ups before he gets back into the mix with the other heavyweights. So let's see here. Never heard of this guy, but let me look him up to see what his opposition is. They call him the real deal, and he's a cruiserweight, by the way. So he's coming up in weight. Wow. Okay. So I'm looking at his record, and he hasn't really beat anyone worth note. The only guy that's recognizable on his resume is Manuel Char, and Manuel Char beat him by unanimous decision 2 years ago. So he hasn't been stopped in that fight, so that's his only loss on his record. So he's 23-1, but he's got a lot of knockouts. So he has about a 88% knockout ratio, but these are all cruiserweight fights though. So against a lot of nobodies who all the guys that he's beat, with the exception of Lazo Herbert, all those guys he beat, all had losing records. Well, there's one guy who is Gula Boza, who's 8-4-0, and Marco Angerman, who's 8-8-8. But all the other guys, they all had losing records. So, or another guy, Gorgi Mahalik, who's 1-1. So I don't know. I mean, that definitely should be an easy win for Fury. This is a cruiserweight he's fighting, coming up in weight. So yeah. Well, I mean, we all got the news is that we got the opponent. It's a cruiserweight, a blown up cruiserweight at this point. So we expect that to be an easy win for Fury, but it is what it is. Okay, let's see here. Gray Drake says, I stopped following Wilder and Joshua talks too. Absolutely. Ralph Unreal says, how come? And Gray Drake says, because it's just nonsense. I agree. Eddie Hearns is playing all sorts of games, and I don't really want to entertain it any longer. Yeah, to be fair, though, man, I mean, maybe Eddie Hearn and his father is kind of playing games more to an extent. But at the end of the day, both sides are playing games. More so on the Hearn end, in my opinion, because, again, I think the whole point of that is that they're trying so hard to maintain their A-side status. To be honest with you, that's what their whole point is, and I can see where they're coming from. They're trying to maintain control the best way they can, so that way they don't disappoint the UK electorate. They're trying so hard not to disappoint them, but if they can't win on the negotiations, then it is what it is. Eddie Hearn and Bay Hearn can say, "Look, we did our best. We tried our best to maintain our A-side status, but we had to compromise to get this fight done." So it is what it is. Speaking of low plays, he says that I can't believe Bobby Jack was that dirty. He's better than that. Well, okay, there you go. There's an admission right there. But let's be fair, though. Was it Stevenson low blowing Jack as well to some extent? Because that's where the low blows are coming in, because he's the one who started that. Bobby Jack retaliated. I think it was in the 4th round. That's where it all began. So both fighters were fighting each other. I mean, more so than Jack. I agree with you, low place on that one. Greg Drake says, look, if you wear your trucks that damn high, you deserve to get fucking low blow. Gary Russell versus Jojo Diaz was good. Yeah, that was a damn good fight, Ralph. Very good fight. Copan says, Jack wasn't that dirty. Well, he was low blowing a little bit. Well, he did get warned, though. So after that, he didn't really land any low blows. So Stevenson landed one low blow, and Jack did it like for 3 straight rounds. Jack wasn't dirty. Stevenson wasn't dirty or retaliating. Well, I mean, he did it early in the fight, but then I agree with you on that one. He didn't really retaliate at the end. I agree with Low Place on that one. But but I would like to hear you say that Badou Jack is a dirty fighter. Are you going to say that, Low? Let's see. Send the link. Okay, I'll get you guys in. Let me go ahead and send you guys a link. You know one thing, Mr. Doc, I'm surprised that Badou Jack didn't even get a point for hitting on the break when he struck John Lewis in the head. Great Jake says, I can recall only one low blow by Jack. Well, actually, there were maybe two low blows, Great Drake, maybe two. One was definitely below the belt. The other one is kind of questionable because I think that was a borderline shot. So maybe that's when he was told to keep it up by Ian John Lewis. Low Play says, yeah, Jack should have lost a point. He's never always been a dirty fighter, but last night he shocked me. He fucked my legacy. He fucked up his legacy in his biggest fight. Shameful. What legacy? He doesn't have a legacy. What are you talking about? Until he can win his big fights, then you could talk. Then we could talk about legacy. But I don't see no legacy in Jack yet. And yet you call him the best 168 pounder, better than Andre Ward and Carl Farach? Really? I'd like for you to explain that. Jojo Diaz was game. Good prime fighter to add on Gary Russell Jr.'s resume. Yeah, I agree, Black Lad Seas. I totally agree on that. I saw 3 well below the belt. That's why the ref gave him a final warning. Nearly took a point. Okay. Yeah, I think I saw maybe 1 or 2 by Mr. Doc. I have to look at it again. I know I saw one. Another one I thought was a little bit below I think it was on the borderline. That's what I thought I see. Yeah, Great Drake. Yeah, exactly. He was throwing a lot on the belt line. That's why I agree. But wasn't Stevenson's shorts pretty high though? Was it, if I'm not mistaken? Hey, Great Drake. I think Low Place is trolling with that comment. I really think he is. But I would like for him to explain himself. He really believes that Badou Jack is best 168 pounder, better than Farach and Ward. I really like for him to explain himself on that. Okay, yeah, so that explains it. So his shorts was extremely high. That's probably why I explained those shots were questionable on the belt. So yeah. Copen says that, hey, the referee should award Stevenson for all that holding. If we're going to play this dirty game for last night, yeah, he was holding a bit too much. He was. But to be fair, though, I think because he was extremely exhausted, he was tired, he was hurt badly. He took a beating, and he was trying to find a way to get back in the fight by slowing down Jack for all the holding. But I agree with you on that one. He was holding a bit too much, though, for my liking. But I can see why he did it, because he was extremely hurt. To me, the constant body punch was Stevenson's right hook to the body. Yeah, I agree. Commissions need to make these fighters wear their trunks properly. I agree with that one, because why fighters get away with getting their trunks wear their trunks pretty high, their cups pretty high? Yeah, that right there needs to be regulated, in my opinion. I agree with Great Drake on that one. All right, let me get the guys in the chat because I know they're waiting for a link. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's got some answers here. We're going to definitely chop it up. So I'd like to get the guys in here. Copen says, how do Oscar Rivas look? You know, I didn't watch that fight. I heard he did pretty well. I know Mr. Boxer today did a fight review on that one, but I didn't have the chance to take a look at it. So I'm not sure about that, Copen. Rock 89 says he put Stevenson in hellish headlocks. Jack, yeah, he did do that. I mean, yeah, look, I said there was a lot of holding, a lot of grappling.
Who put who in the headlock?
Practice going on in that fight, man, by both men. It was, you know, But again, it's a fight. Those things
an inside fight, though. They made an inside kind of fight.
Yeah, there were no innocent parties in that regard.
Well, let's be real though. But let's be real though. But damn, you guys came in real quickly. But here, let's be real though. Low place, like we've been telling you, that's what happens when you fight inside, and you singled out Andre Ward for that. Yeah, you understand.
You did. And I'm also say about the holding. It was a
man, the vultures are circling.
Fight the century. Fight the decade. That's fight the decade. Fight the decade.
But you know what? No. Let me give credit. That was
man. Badu Whack.
Yeah, come on, Charlie. Well,
Badu Whack.
He ended Joe career. He ended Joe Englishman career. That's what he did.
Who? Which one? George Groves?
Yeah, he ended the Englishman career.
Nobody's career, man. Not even Nathan. He had already retired.
Wait, hold up. George Groves. Hey, let me say something.
I'm talking about James Gale.
Oh, okay, Jason Gale. Okay, I give you that one.
Nobody's career.
Changed his career forever. That man ain't got no teeth, bro.
Listen, the history books say that he fought Caleb Truex.
Okay. The history books say he lost to Caleb Truex. The history books say he's nowhere on anybody's list of fighters that we give a fuck about.
History's going to give
hold up, everybody. One at a time.
History's going to give the credit to Truex. You got a good point.
Wait, hold up, Mr. Doc. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Go ahead, Charlie.
Take the L because you came out saying that it was going to be fight of the decade. It didn't live up to the expectations. Badu Jack lost that fight yesterday.
I'm gonna have to give you the L because I never said it was going to be an action fight. I never said
it was fight of the decade.
I said it was made at the right time. Made at the right time.
Let me jump in. Wait, on, John. Let me jump in here. Let me just say this. All fairness, though, that was a good fight. Now, as far as fight as a decade. It could be listed up there. Well, we have to see what other fights turn out to be later in the later year.
No, Dan. I was never saying it was the action fight of the decade. I was saying these guys, number one at 68, number one at 75, were getting in the ring, and they were getting in the ring when they were supposed to be doing, unlike we normally see in this decade. Walter, Pacquiao, Mayweather, they don't happen on time. They don't happen.
Wait, what about Ward and Kovalev? That was number 168, number 175.
No, it wasn't. Adonis been number one for 5 years. You can't take that away.
No, he wasn't. Come on, man. No, he wasn't.
Been a lineal champion 5 years today. That man's going on 10 defenses.
Lineal champion, but Kovalev was rated number 2 pound for pound, and many perceived as
a damn what he's rated pound for pound.
Let's simplify. Whoa. Let's simplify. Which were the better fights, or fight, as it were?
Let's talk about the fight yesterday. Let's not go back to the past and all of this because we're just going off the point.
You're right. You're right.
Yesterday, all right. It didn't live up to the expectations of what people hyped it up to. I'm not just having a go at T. Enough people, fanboys on both sides, Stevenson and Jack. Right? It didn't live up to it. Stevenson won the fight. I went on boxingscene.com, who I'm going to actually boycott from using now. When you look at the photo gallery that they have, they show every single punch that Jack landed on Stevenson. If you look at those pictures and you didn't see the fight and you read the report, you'd think that Badu Jack was robbed. That's what they're moving. If Adonis Stevenson was American, it'll be a different thing. It's because he's Canadian. I'm going to be real. It's because he's Canadian. And it's that thing. They're trying to make it look like Stevenson lost, Jack was robbed. And all this thing people talk about Badu Jack repeatedly low blows. No, he didn't. He did one intentional low blow. One.
Yeah,
the other one was
the reason why he did it because Stevenson was the one who did it first in that early round.
And also,
that's right. That is right. That's right.
Stevenson's cup was as well was high. No. Wait a second. His cup was high as well. Stevenson's cup was high. It was high.
Doesn't mean
like Lennox Lewis used to do it. Like Fing used to do it. So I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask you this, Charlie. Let me ask you this though. Can you deny that Stevenson took a beating in that fight? He took a ferocious beating by Jack.
Both of them did though, isn't it?
Yeah.
They both took a ferocious beating. I saw some body punches that landed on Jack. I saw Stevenson
bodied him with the body punches, man. He had the advantage by damn near 40 body punches.
That's a good point.
People don't be counting body punches, man.
Because
I counted JoJo Diaz's. I'm gonna count Stevenson's.
Stevenson,
and he had the advantage in that.
Stevenson also as well is known for long range. Yesterday he proved he can fight on the inside. Badu Jack weren't prepared for that
a long time ago. He proved that with Von Fire and plenty other fights.
Well, to be fair though, Stevenson has always been a good inside fighter. He's just that he never used that skill because there was opponents who wouldn't dare to fight inside against him.
But how can you say that if you haven't seen it though? Like you're saying,
I have seen it.
I'm trying to say
No, I've seen it. No, I've seen it.
Which opponent? Yeah, which opponent?
Hold up.
Yeah, against who?
Look at the Thomas Williams fight. Look at that fight.
Fonfara, Thomas Williams Jr. And he fought on him plenty.
Yep, he did.
Fonfara, he fought at long range. He fought
was an inside fight.
Fonfara fight and with Thomas Williams Jr. He did it plenty of times, man.
And Sacho Bika.
I don't know about Bika. I haven't watched that in a while.
Yeah, I watched that.
That game was okay. That game was okay. He caught him with a shot though, and then Badger Jack felt it. Yeah,
I didn't say
Badger Jack. Badger Jack was completely confident on he was gonna go in there and beat down that guy. And when he realized the dude ain't going nowhere, and Adonis Stevenson chose to fight his fight, he was like, "Oh shit!" But he realized that ring was big. You know what I mean? When he realized that ring was big, he was chasing Adonis Stevenson. Adonis said, "I ain't gonna run no more. I'm actually gonna come to fight you in the rematch. I'm going with Adonis Stevenson.
I am too
this time.
Yeah, me too.
Adonis is gonna stop him next time."
I think Jack threw a lot of low blows, and I think that really helped him. I think he threw for 3 rounds. He was targeting low blows, and shit. I'm upset with him. He's a better fighter than that, a better man than that. But at the end of the day, it did help him bust Adonis Stevenson nose, and that nosebleed bothers the breathing.
Yeah,
and Adonis he still fought through that shit. So I respect both men still, but I'm pissed with Badu Jack, man. He's better than that shit. If you're not good enough, just fucking lose, bro, and you get credit for taking the fight, unlike Ward and Kovalev and them. But when Adonis put that pressure on him in the 6th round, he didn't like that shit, and from there on out, he said, "Take these dick punches." And that's not cool. Not cool.
The Miguel Cotto specialist.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Maybe, listen, he fought Adonis Stevenson was soft, tender. When he went in there, he realized that kid ain't tender or two. And for someone who's 40 years of age, I ain't gonna lie to you, that blood I saw was thick blood from the brain. I don't know how much damage. I don't know how much damage. I think he caused some serious damage.
That was a bunch of short right punch.
It looked thick
on the inside.
Well, that's the first time his nose has been busted, right? So obviously, the blood's gonna clot. No, but I'm just saying the blood's gonna clot a certain way, and it's gonna be thick. It's because it's the first time that vessel's been busted. You understand? So
he got busted up.
I don't know. Listen to
you. No brain.
I know about that. You're telling me something. You're telling me something. No, because all I know is his thick blood was rolling slowly out. I was like, damn, that's coming from the brain, bro.
One versus Beacon as well. He had nosebleeds versus Beacon from far. Or Thomas Williams Jr. It was one of them.
Horrible, man. Horrible.
He put it on Badger Jack.
Still don't mean that Badger Jack won the fight, though. Badger Jack
No. I thought it was a draw. I called it a draw, and then if someone would win, I would have said it. But I said it was a draw. I said it's a straight out draw. I said like the judges got it right. They got it right. They got it right. It was a draw. It was a really good fight. I give Lopez a lot of credit. Though. He called it. It was going to be a good fight. I don't fight a decade, no, or maybe not. If we got 2 more years, maybe they're going to put in a 10-year span. I got Vladimir Klitschko. I got Klitschko and AJ fight a decade so far. But like, if you got to talk from like 2000 and what? 2010. What? 2010. I'm not
talking about action. You're making it about action. I'm not talking about how.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
I'm talking about. Well, if you're gonna use my point, let me make the point. You're using my point. I'm not. You keep comparing it to action fights. It is not what I'm
compared it to.
But when you say
I'm not comparing it to big events or nothing like that. I have always compared this to these 2 men should have been made. That fight should have been made, and it was made, and we don't always get that shit. We don't always. That's what I meant. Let me put it like this: the biggest fight that I was anticipating. Listen. Can I get 2 seconds? The biggest fight that I was anticipating this decade because they did it when they were supposed to do it. That's what I meant. I've always said that.
Yeah, but you can't say what you meant. You can't go by what you meant and what you said. What you said is the fight of the decade. I don't know why you're trying to take it back. I don't know why you're trying to take it back.
No, you rearranged it every time you talked about it.
I rearranged it. I just didn't fight the decade. Bro, you said fight the decade.
I don't think that holds up in court, though.
That's what I said,
man. You should fight the decade
made when it's supposed to be made. Well, if you want to talk about it in action, feel free. I know what I said, man.
No, I'm telling you, if you got to fight the decade.
I came on here calling one of my favorite fighters a dirty fucking fighter.
What you just say there? What you just say? I don't know why you're getting tight about it. I'm going with it. Like, if you talking about fight the decade, it might be in there.
You're going on about a point I didn't make.
Did you say fight the decade?
You said
the fight that I'm anticipating more than any other fight.
No, you didn't say all that other stuff.
DJ,
you didn't say all that other stuff. No, I don't want you meant. This is what you said.
You hang out because you're telling me my point I didn't make.
I'm telling you what you said, and everyone heard it.
Let it go. Let it go.
No, I ain't gonna let it go. You interrupt me. You interrupt me.
All right.
You interrupt me anyway. You interrupt me. You interrupt me. Let me know. Let me
answer the question.
No. I'm not gonna
the question. Can you answer?
Everybody, relax. Everybody, we can't have that now.
Chill the fuck out.
No, Mick, hold up, everybody. Relax. Everybody, let's be cool. Let's take it one at a time.
Let me finish. Yeah.
Hold up, EJ. Hold up. But let me finish, okay? If you're gonna respond, let him finish his point, and then then you come back, okay? But before we do that, I got Beatbox and Beats and Rhymes, and I got Rock 89 that came into the chat. What's going on, fellas?
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Let me finish my point real quick. Come on, man. I give props to everyone coming in. Yeah, no, I didn't. Wait a minute. Yeah, let me do my point real quick. Let me introduce everyone. All right. So what I was saying, like, I got no problem if you want to call it fight the decade, because if you go from 2010 and to 2020 and you want to put it in fight the decade, I got no problem with that. See, I got no problem with that. Like, I got Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, probably my one. But that fight was really good. That fight was really good and really close. I think that I compared to Winky Wright versus Jermaine Taylor and that type of thing, where it was like, bro, that fight there, I couldn't even make a winner. It was like a draw. It was a good draw. And the judge got it right. The judges got it right. And that was a great fight for boxing. And I give my tip. I tip my hat to Low Place in saying that was good. He was bigging it up and building the fight up. He built it up good. And I think it exceeded expectations. So I'll give you credit. I don't know what the fuck you on. Anyway, that's my piece. Go ahead, man.
So other people quit misinterpreting my point. I even went into the decade and look at the great fights that were made that may not even been action fights. And I said this Kovalev Ward was 2 versus 3 in the division. Very looked up to. And I said, yo, this fight is bigger because in my opinion, Badu Jack's the best 168-pounder of the decade. And I believe Adonis Stevenson's the #1 light heavyweight lineal champion for 5 years, going on 6. And Badu Jack has stepped up to light heavyweight, and he's already top 2, top 3 in some rankings, and he's going right for lineage. And I said, I don't see no bigger fight being made. Now let me prove how I told you it's not the fight of the decade action-wise, because that's already Thomas Williams Jr. versus Edwin Rodriguez, and nobody's going to fucking beat that. All right? That's done. All right, so I've never said it was action you were going to be. I said, now hold on, please. Hold on. I never said it was going to be, yo, they're going to outdo this fight. I told you they were going to outdo Kovalev Ward, and they truly did. But what I said is these guys have never been boring, and they're not going to be again. Badu Jack tried to make it boring, but Stevenson hawked his motherfucking ass down and made him fight. To Badu Jack's credit, he fought dirty, but he fought. But at the end of the day, no fight is going to be better than Thomas Williams Jr. versus Edwin fucking Rodriguez. I meant the anticipation of the fight because it was the best versus the best. It's my pound for pound #1 versus my pound for pound #2. That's what I meant by fight of the decade.
Right. Who won the fight, Low Place?
Draw. I had it a draw, but I'm pissed at Jack because he was dirty. I can't hold points against him because he was dirty, because he was whooping ass while he was dirty. But that low blowing shit is not Badu Jack. He pulled that weak ass Andre Ward shit, and if I don't like it with Ward, I ain't gonna like it with him.
Yo, what's up, Beats? Yo, what's up? 609? What's scared on, Beats?
Yeah, man, chilling.
Beats. So
Beats.
Hold up.
Let me ask him one question.
No. Let me ask the question. Wait, stop my hang out. Hold up. Yeah, let's get Rocket in first, but let me get Beats in and then Rocket in second. So, Beats, what's your take on the fight, man, between Stevenson and Jack?
I think Stevens, you got to give Stevenson credit.
Okay.
But taking on like Lopez said, the guy was the premier super middleweight. I'd say he was, and like he was younger, he was bigger, he had a lot of ambition that he was bringing in, and I have to give Stevenson credit for retaining his belt, man. I have to give him a lot of credit, man. And I don't think a lot of people today have given him his credit. I can't stand Jim Gray really, like, and them guys.
Yeah.
It seems like, there seems to be an agenda. I don't know if it's an agenda, but they don't like the guy. Maybe it's because of his past and whatever. But
right.
I give back. To be honest, I give Stevenson more credit because Badou-Jack had a lot of youth on his side, man. And he didn't, to me, he didn't push it hard enough. To me, if it's a world championship, you can't be saying, "Oh, I'm going to box the first three cautiously," because that's what Hagler did to Ray Leonard. And even I acknowledge that, man, you fucked up. Even though I'd probably say Hagler won, I said you messed up, man. You messed up.
Yeah, exactly. But let me ask you this, Beats. Let me ask you this.
Straight away.
Right, I agree with you on that. But let me ask you this though: do you think Stevenson should reconsider taking that rematch? Because to be fair, Badou-Jack did take a beating too, but Stevenson, in my opinion, got the worst end of it. Do you think he could go in that rematch against Jack? Because I'm not sure.
The rematch would be more dangerous for Jack. I think it would be more dangerous for Jack.
Okay. Fair enough.
Tell him, Beats. Tell him. Explain why. Explain why.
Because that wasn't the best Stevenson performance that I've seen, and I think if he can control range just a little better, which I think he can. I think he didn't really land the right hands clean as he can. He wasn't getting the angle quite right. So I think he can make a few modifications with Sugar Hill. And I don't think Jack can fight any harder. I don't think he can. But I think Stevenson can still knock him out.
Well, do you think his age kind of showed up that night? Because he definitely...
No.
You don't think so?
He's trained in the TNT gym. He's trained by flipping Deval. He's getting the best training. You're fighting a well-conditioned young athlete. No, it weren't his conditioning. Like, Jack always keeps his shape pretty well for all the fights, so you need a lot of... No. You're fighting a quality opponent. Like, I heard some Jim Gray asked that stupid question. Like, if you're fighting top-class opposition, your stamina, your chin's going to get... All that shit's going to get tested. Of course it's going to get tested.
Right.
You know?
But they weren't trying to give it to the to the Taliban anyway. That's what I know, because they know the guy's Muslim and shit. They weren't trying to give it to him. You know what I mean? I tell you, man.
I don't think that's got. I don't think that's got.
How many draws did the brother keep getting, man? I mean,
that's one of
the draws.
The Taliban. I mean, like, there's Muslim influence. Yeah, I mean, go take the belt and give it to the Taliban.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Right? So basically, we are giving Jack a pass then.
I'm not.
It sounds like to me. I'm not.
I'm not.
You can't win no fight giving up the first 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah, I'm not giving no pass.
A lot of the websites, if you go on a lot of the American websites, they're all for Jack. They were saying that Jack got robbed. Jack landed more shots, this, that, and the third. And like I said,
Charlie, I think it's
one minute.
Okay.
Beats made a point, yes, because Beats showed the statistics, like their CompuBox, right? But one thing I saw that CompuBox do, right? They show you like the average totals, but they don't actually show you the actual amount of punches thrown and landed. They just show on an average, medium, right? I think Jack. From the way they showed it, it was like a 2% difference between landed and thrown and landed from Badou-Jack and Adonis Stevenson. So to me, it looks like it's just because he's a money team fighter, and I don't know if there's pressure to have American champions, but in the American media, I've seen it. They've all basically push the narrative that Jack was robbed, and I'm not with that, because I saw Stevenson win that fight.
Yeah, be fair too. Be fair. Hold on.
He needs at some point. He needs to own it. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with that.
Every single set of judges is not friggin' corrupt in exactly the same way.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's not. You know what I mean? And they've all been different. You know what I mean? You got to remember, these are all different judges. It's not the same 3 people calling it a draw every time.
Well, you know,
so
you know,
he's got to own his part
of the responsibility. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he's the common denominator, not the judges.
You know what that reminds me of, right? When Danny Garcia fought Furman, and he started so slow, and then his dad, Danny never lost. Danny never. What do you mean he never lost? He lost. He started too slow, and he didn't get into the fight. Simple.
Bro,
whenever there's draws and that kind of thing and losses, you can't say that. You know what I mean? Buddy Jack's a slow starter.
All I know is, all I know is, I don't go. All I know is when it comes to fights, I don't go on the website. I understand Charlie goes because you want to hear overall opinion. But like on everyone's hangout, I'd listen to. Everyone kind of had it close or whatever. Like, and that's the people I listen to because they have agendas. We're calling it. We ain't got no agendas. We're calling them for how we see it. And everyone in my in the panel I was in, they had it a draw or thingy by one. On it was that either Badu Jack or they had Stevenson by one or they had it a draw. So it was a close fight. So if someone say this guy got robbed, then all they do is lose credibility. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what it comes down to because. The fight was what it was. It was a very tight, close fight. If you had it by 1 point for one other, then fine. Or you had it a draw, it's fine. But if someone wants to say it's a robbery, I was like, how's that a robbery? That couldn't be a robbery. You know what I mean? Yeah. If someone wants to say it's a robbery, then that's more to do with like you said, they have agenda. But again, if they got an agenda, that's why you can't listen. That's why our commentaries, I turn down the commentary. I ain't going to be influenced when I'm watching a fight. We don't want to be influenced. People message us on the hangout after, and they said that I didn't even watch the fight, but listen to you guys. Yeah, this fight sounded like a great fight, and he enjoyed our commentary better than anyone else's. So I don't really listen to anyone else's opinion apart from you guys.
Can I respond to Charlie? Charlie, can I ask you something? Because you brought up this little. This little campaign against Stevenson on American perspective. What about Sky Sports? Because I heard that commentary was extremely biased for Badu Jack against Stevenson. So they thought
I didn't hear that stream. I had the American one.
Okay, I heard they thought that Badu Jack got the short end of the stick on that decision.
The commentary, I didn't find the commentary biased, but we all know commentary is biased. I'm not talking about commentary. I'm talking about all the media outlets after the fight. I go on boxingscene.com, and when you look at all the pictures, they've showed all the punches that Jack landed.
I saw them pictures. I saw it in the gallery.
Anybody think Stevenson was going to quit?
I had to go through many just to see any punches that Stevenson landed.
Did anybody think?
And Jack was the one not letting his hands go. Jack was the one not letting his hands go. You know what I mean?
So what rounds are you saying, Doc? What rounds?
He didn't land nothing in round one. He didn't throw nothing in round two.
Nah, he's not gonna start fast with Stevenson because that's the worst mistake you can do. You'll be on the plane flight back home before you know it. But
you're the younger guy.
That cost him the fight.
Yeah, I agree. But
my point was this is just how ridiculous of a picture they're painting. What Charlie Brown's talking about.
You planned to stop Adonis Stevenson. He planned it. Like, he thought Adonis Stevenson was going to quit. Hell, I'm even doing my video saying, yo, Stevenson's about to pack this shit in. They're not going to let him come back out. I thought he was taking an ass whooping, but, he's fucking crazy, man. I've said it all along. The dude is nuts, and he didn't do the Chavez Sr. He didn't do the Oscar De La Hoya, or you name it. He didn't pull that shit. And Badu Jack, I think he did well throughout the fight. Forget the low blows. I don't want to talk. I'm not going to try to dwell on that. But other than that, he put a whooping on Stevenson. But Stevenson came back and let him know, bro, I don't give a fuck if I was 50. I'm not sitting on the ropes like B-Hop in this bitch tonight.
Well, I'm going to go to the comment section. Let me go to the comment section real quickly. Somebody, Great Drake said I had Jack winning 115-113. Black Lions Stevenson more than 4 rounds because he did nothing in the second half. Copen says, Grave Drake says, Stevenson was doing excessive holding. He was so disgraceful for doing that. Paraphrasing there.
What were you thinking about this?
Yeah, the holding was disgraceful by Stevenson.
He was holding.
Yeah.
That's strategy, man.
It wasn't disgraceful.
Yeah,
the punches to the belt, man, and not getting no
nowhere near Vlad level holding. Stop it.
No, it wasn't. I think he was holding because he was hurt. He was trying to find a way to get.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was nothing. So I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
So when Jack wasn't punching, was that disgraceful? Look, here's what I don't like. Yeah, right. It was a good fight, and when you look at how the press reacted, it's kind of like they don't want to give Stevenson his credit for being in a really good fight. At least give the guy his due. That even if you think he's give him his due and say that he played his part. And one problem with modern day boxing, like I think, like most people think it was a close fight. If you and the problem with boxers, they get in a close fight, and you can say it was a draw, and they win a tight. They say, "Yeah, I won, no rematch." You're thinking, "What the fuck? You just barely beat the guy." You know what I mean? And most people want to see it again, and we don't get a lot of rematches that should have happened. You know, so I think that's a bad thing. Back in the day, you always get rematches in tight fights. And I like to see one again.
I agree completely.
Beats, they don't deserve an Adonis Stevenson. I've said it all along. They can't appreciate it because they don't deserve it. They don't like to see it, therefore they don't deserve it. I've always said he shouldn't even give you motherfuckers good fights because you won't appreciate it. You just don't deserve it. I'm not trying to pick fun, but you deserve the quitter Chavez Sr. When he's too old and is not going this way, you deserve that. You deserve Oscar sitting over there, and that's what you fucking deserve. He should have he should never give you motherfuckers what you want. The motherfucker's 40 and a goddamn warrior. None of your people you like today.
We agree with you today.
One second. None of your people you like today will be about that motherfucking life when they 40. Not even Earl Spence, and I love them. They won't be about that life, bro.
Yep. That's why I fucks with Stevenson.
Yep.
He's making
a point that still be handling his business. And he was in a good fight with a younger dude. And man, I had him winning that fight, but I could see where you could have a draw because I've watched it 3 times. And round 10 to me was the difference. You know, some people I had it for Stevenson, some people might have had it for Jack.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? I agree with everybody's points here because Stevenson does deserve credit for being a good fighter. I know I've been criticizing him for his lack of opposition over the years, but I do have to give him credit. He took on a young lion in his prime, you know what I mean, gave a good fight, showed some heart, showed the heart of a champion because I thought he was going to get knocked out. He was hurt badly in the 7th, 8th round. I thought he was going to get knocked out, he was going to get stopped. But he showed the heart. He came back with that ferocious body punch, with that left, in the 10th round, I believe, and Jack was reeling from that. He came back, man. He showed the heart. He didn't quit. So he definitely deserves my respect for that, man. I think the other media outlets give
I don't think he was hurt like that. Yeah. You see him in the corner after every round. He wasn't hurt like that. Sugar Hill was in his face. Sugar Hill got on some Emmanuel Stewart shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting hype with him. The man wasn't hurt. He had the blood. That came from one punch, a single punch, a close punch from a short right hand from Badu Jack. And they took care of it, man. Stevenson was calm and collective after every round. You know what I mean? And while he was holding,
because he was holding because I was hurt, trying to get back in the fight, man. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, he was holding to make the man stop punching. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to trade with him at that time.
Regardless,
that's strategy.
The fight itself, we keep saying, regardless, it was a good fight, and all too often, as I think Beats may be alluding to, good fights nowadays get torn down by this robbery. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And the fact that it was a good fight gets lost in the wash of everybody going over who won and robbed this.
I want to see Jack fight Kovalev and give Kovalev the beating of his life. That's what
I would like to see that too. But let me get Rocky here because Rock is sitting here waiting, man. What's going on, Rock?
What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
Good. What's your take on the Stevenson-Jack fight, man?
I mean, I got to give my hats off to Stevenson. The only problem I've ever had with Stevenson, for real, is just his inactivity. And sometimes failing to make fights that others want to see. But other than that, I mean, you can't call the dude a shit fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Badu Jack just off the strength of, I understand you don't start fast with Stevenson, but you still got to fight. And I mean, he literally gave away the first half of the fight thinking, all right, I'm just going to whoop his ass at the end. The only reason... Now, Charlie, I know you said you only saw 2 low blows. The only reason I felt like a point should have been taken, because after the 1 low blow, the ref warned him, talked to him. But I heard a couple times during like the last few rounds of the fight where the ref kept saying, keep him up. So for me, it's just like, okay, if the ref is saying keep him up after you done already warned him, that's the only reason I felt like a point should have been taken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this, Rock. Let me ask you this real quick. Hold on, Rock. Hold up. Let me try hold for a second. But I would argue that I think a couple of those shots were on the borderline. That's probably why Ian Lewis to keep them up. So you have to also take into account that Stevenson's trucks were extremely high. And one person in the comment section say, "Look, man, these boxers need to stop getting away with holding their trucks or the cup too high. They need to be regulated where they should be worn." So
no, I feel you. I definitely feel you on that. I was just saying, like, that's the only reason I felt that way, because I could hear the ref study saying that. Now, fighters should realize keeping their trunks too high is detriment to them, because then you want to argue about dick punches, but you can't because you got your trunks all the way at your damn nipples. So, I mean, you know, I understand you think they should regulate it, but if a fighter want to keep doing that, people argue about the War Kovalev knockout. He had his trunks. He had his trunks at his damn armpits. That was his fault. He got himself knocked out. But Stevenson fought a hell of a fight. The dude's stamina is shit. So the fact that he didn't give up, like, you know, you gotta give it to him. But Jack just fought a trash fight. Like, you can't give away half the fight and then expect, all right, I'm about to sweep through, you know, the next half of the fight. Because if that's the case, everybody know Oscar De La Hoya should have beat Felix Trinidad, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Fight a trash fight. Jack, he didn't fight trash. Stevenson
Jack did fight a trash fight.
Let me tell you what you're wrong on that. Well, you could be right, but I think you might see something here. Jack knew he was going to win. He felt, I gotta knock this guy out at the end. I can't fuck with him early. But Stevenson said, "Oh, he trying to take me past 6, then turn it up." Stevenson was the one that said, "You won't make it past 6 without it being turned up." He started applying chest-to-chest pressure in the 5th and 6th rounds, and Jack wasn't ready for. Jack's like, "Shit, I was controlling this. What are you doing? This ain't how you fight. Why are you doing this to me?" So when it says you're actually giving Stevenson credit, and instead of saying shit fight, you should give Stevenson credit and say, notice the game plan and adjust it. Notice that, oh, he wants to get 6 slowly. No, I'm taking you through 4, 5, and 6 at a fast pace, and I'm gonna win these, and now I'm gonna put you behind the 8 ball. And Jack tried his hardest to get behind the 8 ball, but Stevenson ain't no bitch. I thought he was. I thought he was folding that shit in.
I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. The reason I say his game plan was shit was just from the fact of you cannot expect to sweep the back half of a fight. And number one, Jack doesn't have no whole bunch of just late knockouts in fights. So there's no way he could have thought, okay, I'm going to get him later in the fight and then knock him out. Because that's not who he is. He should have tried to get a couple more rounds, or even just made the rounds closer for himself, and he just gave them away. At least make yourself.
I didn't have him down 6-0. I had it like 4-2 after 6.
Here's the thing, yeah. Here's the thing. Challenging for a title, right? You're not supposed to wait until the older guy gets tired, then start punching. No, you are beat from early. From early. What you were doing in the 12th, you should have been landing them in the 1st and 2nd.
You've been knocked out, Beats.
By Aaron Pratt.
He would have been knocked out, Beats.
Like
That's what lost him the fight, was the first 2
Aaron
rounds.
Pratt could have got knocked out by Savannah. You mean he took the shots, man, was somersault back up and
Savannah's put him down.
Yeah, because that's the only way you beat someone like Cervantes. You have to beat him down.
Nah, he would have been knocked out, Beats.
Everybody knows this.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You could have kept a high guard and threw more punches. He didn't do anything.
If you get
everybody knows you got to take the belt away from the champ.
Yeah, and he tried his hardest. He tried to knock him out, but you can't.
Low place also, he's recently, not just in the past, but recently paid for starting slow.
I don't agree with him starting slow, bro. He beat the shit out of Butte early. He beat the shit out of
he starts slow.
He beat the hell out of DeGale through the whole fight. I don't think he started slow.
Yeah, come on, stop up. He's a slow starter. Everybody knows.
Personal opinion. Look. I saw DeGale wore down in 6 and 7 rounds. That's not slow. Like you just weren't. It was just the agenda in that fight was, James DeGale is winning all of these rounds. Like, no, he getting hit hard as fuck. But at the end of the
But
day,
if he wore DeGale out in 6 or 7 rounds, why didn't he put him away?
We're talking about DeGale.
He don't got to, because I'm talking about DeGale. Because I wanted to take it to that point, because I'm talking about past fights. And I can finish talking about it if I like.
Seriously, it's not even.
James DeGale is not a guy who's going to get knocked out. He took a beating at full fight from.
We don't need to argue the point that deeply. It is what it is. He's paid for starting slow in the past.
And I don't think he was. I don't think he was. That's why I brought up James DeGale. James DeGale got beat a whole fight by Truax.
He get dropped in that fight. He did get dropped.
James DeGale isn't a guy you're just going to stop. So when you
get dropped in that fight,
just because you started,
Badou Jack got dropped in that fight.
That's A-okay. Everybody, that's A-okay. You get dropped every round. No, that's A-okay.
I see him get dropped.
3 or 4.
That's okay. You acting like DeGale. Stevenson didn't even win the first 6 rounds 6-0. That's not true.
That's not true either. I agree. That's not what I said.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. The bottom line is that Badou Jack is a notorious slow starter. He should
agree with that.
Is that if he didn't want to load up, wait, hold on, let me finish, bro. If he wanted to still, what he could have done is stole some of those early rounds by, let his hands go a little bit. Don't have to load up on the shots early. At least throw your hands out, so at least that way you can see that you're trying to be active in the rounds. He didn't do that, and that's the mistake that he made. If he was able to do that in those first 6 rounds, then maybe he could have got those couple of those rounds swinging in his favor for the referee. For the judges, a couple of judges get those, to favor him, and 2 judges to favor him in those early rounds. Damn. But the fact is that he's gonna have to live with that mistake, man. And for him to go out and say it's a robbery, I can understand where he's coming from, but still at the same time, he has to understand that. Okay, going forward, I can't be starting off very slow and get big fights like this, especially championship fights. I can't no more.
Dan, if he got in range, he would have got hurt. He stayed out of range. He couldn't even take the power when Stevenson was dead tired.
So it's not good.
He didn't have no choice, bro. He didn't have no choice. He found out when he got in the ring, nah, bro, this ain't for me. That's what he found out.
But you're giving him an excuse, though.
No, I'm giving you the truth. I'm giving you the truth. I'm giving you the truth. I'm giving you the truth that no man in that division is going to come out and run up on Adonis Stevenson in the first 2-3 rounds.
Wait, hold up.
It ain't going to happen.
He was utilizing movement to move to his left from the left hand. So he could have still did that, kept a high guard, but he needed more pressure than that. If you're going to listen, the whole point is to win the title, not to go the distance or get controversial. He's going in there to win.
Can I add something too? What Badou Jack did successful in the second half of the fight? He smothered Stevenson, didn't give him no punch room at all. He could have did that in the early rounds.
Smothered the hell. He couldn't do that while he's fresh, Dan. He couldn't do that while he's fresh. He can't do that while he's fresh.
Why not?
He can't. He's too good for it. He's too good for it. He's too good for it. It wouldn't have happened, bro.
Wait, hold up.
It cost him. His tactics.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Don't many people beat Adonis, but he
wait, hold up. T. Ricky had did that to Costa Zeus, smothered his ass early in the fight, and look what happened. So Jack could say things, Stevens.
Holyfield smothered Mike Tyson. That's what he did. He smothered him.
You know how good Adonis Stevenson
classic tactic.
Jack got hurt on the inside. This ain't Costa Zeus. That's Adonis Stevenson.
Listen, you're talking about Stevenson. People thought Holyfield was gonna die against Tyson, and he smothered out his power, bro. He smothered it out.
Another good fighter on the fighter.
Still thought Costa Zeus was gonna knock out Ricky.
If you want to beat someone, you find a way. It's will over matter. This is what championship boxing.
You're talking about
he's gonna get knocked out. No, you find a way.
He was going to get knocked out. It's a true opinion.
It's a true opinion. Great fighters find ways of taking away either your speed, your power, or your skill set and winning the belt.
And Adonis Stevenson, a great fighter, found a way to tell Badou Jack, when you thought you were going to win the fight, you're not winning the fight. That's what he done. Badou Jack had a plan, and it would have went to plan if he wasn't fighting a great fighter. There's nothing to be mad about.
That's the whole thing of boxing. That's the whole thing of boxing.
Chavez Senior would have quit. Oscar would have quit. They would have quit.
You don't get emotionally involved. You stick to your game plan.
To Edwin Rosario. Rosario was a serious, but you don't trade. He smothered out his shit, bro. Smothered his power out.
Okay, all right. Answer me this. Answer me this.
Like what Madonna did to
Rosario had huge power on the inside. Beats, can you answer me this? Do you feel like Edwin Rosario had huge power on the inside where he was smothered as well too? Yes or no?
Edmund just hit hard. That's all I know, bro. You fucking hit hard.
Well, I can surely tell you about Adonis Stevenson, inside or outside. If you run up on him while he is fresh, shit ain't popping like you think. Badou-Jack was smart. Look, I'd rather go out and say, I get a rematch in it.
Wait a minute, Tyson and Zoo were fresh. What are you talking about? They got smothered the hell out of each other.
Okay, all right, and Holyfield's a damn good inside fighter himself, right? Ain't he?
Okay, so it's Jack, yeah. So why could Jack do what Holyfield did?
But Jack don't have the firepower to match Adonis Stevenson, bro. He just didn't have it, bro.
Holyfield didn't either.
Holyfield's a big
He knocked him out. He knocked him out. You can't prove that to me. He knocked him out. Stop him.
He knocked him out from an accumulation. He ain't just flattened him.
Holyfield's best punch was the headbutt.
Mike Tyson ain't that G Adonis Stevenson is. Ain't my fault. Ain't my fault.
What?
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson, the person that quit. Adonis Stevenson ain't with that whole shit.
It's best I don't even.
I'm talking about that day that Mike Tyson
I was going to say, did he just imply now
Adonis Stevenson? That day that Mike Tyson quit in the ring, he did not display this G of Adonis Stevenson. Ain't
How
my
did he
motherfucking
quit?
fault.
He got
If you want
stopped.
Jack Tyson,
I stopped and quit.
Please let me get the next word. Are you talking about the first fight?
I'm talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about any Mike Tyson that went in there and
quit.
quit.
He didn't quit. He got beaten the fuck down. He didn't quit.
Yes.
Okay, he didn't, but he quit before. Ain't my fault. That ain't the G that
never quit.
Adonis Stevenson.
He never quit against Douglas.
When did he quit?
Tyson didn't quit against Douglas. He got beat down.
Yeah, he got knocked out. You're right.
Nobody was beating but Buster Douglas that day.
Exactly.
Exactly.
His mama,
Tell me, Jay.
No, I'm gonna go back to the original point. I agree with Lopez. You don't just roll up on Adonis Stevenson, and that comes to the point. The mindset of Badou-Jack. He didn't want to win. He just wanted to go the distance and see what happened. That just tells you right there.
You're making an excuse.
I had in his interview.
No excuse.
In his interview, they asked him. I remember at the press conference. They asked him, "Yeah, how you gonna win?" He goes, "Listen, I'm going there. I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna test him and make his own." And the mindset of him not going in the way he should have from the last round, because he obviously had the energy. He was wary of Adonis Stevenson's power. That's why he didn't do that. He thought Adonis Stevenson was gonna break down and he'd be able to take over the fight in the back end of the fight. And what Pete said was absolutely right. You at some point you got to take a chance. That's what makes fighters great. And guys are those mediocre fighters. At some point, I never believe him, but Badou-Jack is great, but Adonis Stevenson is, because I tell you what, in the rematch, he's gonna sharpen up, and he's gonna be more dangerous. That's what we do know. He has his chance. You ain't gonna get another chance. So I agree with Lopez. You can't just roll up on him, but he didn't want to do that. But that's what great fighters do. But that's what great fighters do. If you want to be great, if you want to be great, you have to. If you want to be great. If you want to be great and you're trying to get a championship belt, you need to take chances and go for it, bro. Like you ain't got waiting on late rounds.
Thank you. Like Madonna did in the first fight against Mayweather.
That's what makes people remember them.
He's built a legacy of that.
Rigo beat a Powerful Con number 3 fight and never rolled up on him. It's not the only way.
Let me tell you something. First of all,
if you're a challenger, no, wait a second. If you're a challenger, this is tying in with what EJ said and what Beats is saying. You're the challenger. You have to go after the title. This was the same problem with Lara when he fought Canelo. I thought he beat him, but you know what? I realized afterwards you were going to have to go forward at some point and engage, and you're going to have to take that title. You have to go after and take the title. You're not going to get it off popularity because you're with the money team, because you use some good tactics to come later on in the fight. You have to take that title the best way, you know what I mean? And if you don't do that, that's it. It sounds like everybody is in agreement that Stevenson is a good fighter. And that's what I'm trying to say to T. Nobody's against Stevenson, but what we're saying is that Jack, for whatever reason, he didn't perform to what he should have performed. He's young. He was the younger man. He was the guy expected to take the mantle from Adonis Stevenson, and he didn't deliver, man. And
he was freezing up in the big fights. That's what he do.
I didn't expect him to. I didn't expect him to roll up on him. I always felt he'd try to outbox him early, then jump on him and find out that Stevenson ain't no hope.
He didn't try to outbox him early.
Yes, he did. He tried to use his distance, but he found out he couldn't. They were too far apart.
Moving around and trying to outbox is two different things.
He was trying to
do anything.
He moved around covering up like Ashley Theophane.
Yeah, he couldn't get the range. He couldn't do it. He tried to do it, but it didn't happen. You know,
Well, then go for
what he got. Like he got 10 rounds for me in 3 of the first 6 rounds. 3 of the first 6 rounds.
Why him being so cautious? By the 3rd round, Stevenson was walking around the fucking ring like it was his fucking yard. Like he had his
it is his yard.
Body punching him.
It is his yard. It is his yard.
You gonna take the
we critique Badou-Jack, but you gotta understand, other men didn't even want to get in the damn ring, bro. Other men wouldn't even get in the ring.
That don't change the
we're not
fact.
talking about Badou-Jack.
Hold on, everybody.
We're
One at a time.
Nobody else. We're talking about the fight last night.
Yeah. Let Beats finish his point. Yeah, go ahead, Beats. Finish your point, man. Beats, finish your point, brother.
We're overlooking the strategy on how you win championship fights. That's what we're doing here. It's not critiquing. If you want, listen. I remember Terry Marsh, right? Back in the Terry Marsh was a typical straight left, pale, pasty-looking white English fighter. Always boxed behind his straight left. You see when he got his world title fight against Joe Louis Manley, he fought like a fucking tiger. He just steamed straight. I was like, what the fuck's this? And he knocked him out. And I was just like, what the fuck? And it was way against the script. But he knew that straight left shit is gonna. I mean, it might get him close or something. But listen, I need to fucking grab this belt from this guy, snatch it from him. And if you don't have that mentality, right, then yeah, you can win it. But you know that's what fighters who want the belt do. That's what they do. That's what they do.
That's what Dogbo did.
I think
I don't think Badou-Jack's gonna take that rematch. You know, the way he was getting punched up in his stomach, bro. I don't think he wants the Donna Stevenson. When that rematch could come by, here, nah, you know what? We're gonna pass, bro.
You're gonna hit him in the dick.
He was looking like Ashley Peterfay, man.
You see him squinch. You see him squinch out them body punches going on. There's more of that coming.
He's going to hit him in the dick.
Hey, Donna Stevenson. Adonis Stevenson hurt him more than he hurt him, bro. Like he hurt Adonis Stevenson, but when Adonis Stevenson hurt him, bro, that guy's body was he looked like he was on fire, like someone burnt his toes. Yeah, he ran. Someone burnt his toes. He ran, man. He don't want, bro. That sort of body language.
He was running well.
Yeah, he's looking like he's big and strong. Yeah, he's looking like he's big and strong, and this and that. He realized Adonis Stevenson has more dimensions, and the fighter knows that. He's like, you know what? I ain't getting back in no time soon. I saw Floyd on the outside, like, whoa. I didn't know he was that. I see Floyd cheering. When Floyd saw the ass whipping, Floyd was looking at him like, what the fuck's happening? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Hey, everyone's got a plan until they get hit. And that's what happened. He got hit. He hit first, and Adonis hit him back. And Adonis Stevenson was the first one to say, I'll give him a rematch straight away. Adonis was the first one to say it. But yeah, Badou-Jack, oh man, maybe it's because I'm me with a promoter. I don't get these decisions. He won't talk about no bloody rematch, man. That guy don't want it.
No. Actually, no. He did say, what up, Jay? He did say he want the rematch. They both said it. Badou-Jack said, yeah, I want my rematch.
Man. He might, Dan. I'm saying he might say it, Dan. He might say it, Dan, but he don't want it. You can say what he wants. Adonis wants it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Adonis wants the rematch. I don't care if Badou
fight dirty again. The rematch.
What was the first thing out of his mouth there?
Vegas.
Well, he said, look, I think with Floyd implying that, look, if the rematch is going to happen, it's got to happen elsewhere. It can't happen in Canada. So I think that's what they're implying.
Let's go after where the champ
says. Lomachenko last week. You see Lomachenko last week. When he realized that, I'm not going to be able to look slick and glitzy against the guy, he said, I have to knock this guy out, or I'm going to lose. He had that in it. I need to knock him out.
Right, he wasn't fighting no Donna Stevenson.
That's what he did.
He wasn't fighting.
It don't matter. He got knocked down and said, fuck it, I'm about to whoop his ass.
He wasn't fighting no Donna Stevenson, bro.
He was fighting a champion that had to take
out. No, he was fighting a frail dude that packs it in more than
number one guy. A number one.
I don't give a fuck what his number is. Donna Stevenson. I'm gonna tell you, if you think he's in the Donna Stevenson, say it. Okay, if you disagree with me, say the niggas in the Donna Stevenson. Say it. If you disagree,
that's what you talking about. He ain't on Donna Stevenson. But we're trying to tell you. We're trying to tell
you. Why you turned up, man?
Yeah, let me respond. If I say a point and you don't disagree with it,
everybody one at a time.
I'm very pissed. I'm very pissed that Badou-Jack is being critiqued.
All right, hold up. All right. Okay. Hold up.
You're gonna have to use the mute, Dan.
Yeah, I'm using mute somebody. Hold up.
I'm trying to get my point out.
Okay, well, first of all, before you get your point, you just want to say something first, and then you finish your point.
Low place. Here's the thing, though. Lomachenko would have did that to Robert Easter. He would have did it to Linares, and he'd do it to Mikey Garcia. He'd do the same thing. If I'm fighting you and I realize I can't win that way, I'm going to do it and I'm going to go for it. That's the whole point. It's the mentality.
And once again, neither one of them names that you just named, I'm sorry. When Mikey had a little nose bruise, when Mikey had a little nose bruise, he checked the fuck off the block, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
Adonis had birth juice rolling out his nose. And he stayed in there. Ain't none of them know Adonis Stevenson. Ain't nobody. No Kovalev, no none of them.
Yeah, somebody needs to mute, man. You get feedback. Yeah, somebody speaks needs to mute the feedback.
And another thing that's pissing me off, that we are critiquing the man who had look, I'm mad at Badu Jack throwing the low blows, but I'm trying to not talk about that. But we critiquing the man that had the balls to take the fight. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. The other motherfuckers didn't even take the fight. All right.
But you know what? Every fighter has to put on gloves. You give respect to. That goes without saying. That's like a kind of like invalid point. He got in there. Yeah, so what? He got in there and he went in there to win. He didn't go in there to lose, survive, cling on, get a payday. No, he did. Like you said, he went to go for the linealship or whatever. He went in there for greatness. He didn't stick to his game plan. And this is important with fighters as well, because sometimes you have a game plan and it goes wrong, right? But you have to, if you trust in yourself, your abilities and your trainer and the game plan, you stick to it and you think. Same thing happened with Steve Collins. A lot of the times he didn't want to listen to his trainer, right? But he knew he wasn't skillful. But if he stuck to his game plan and he got through it. That's how he beat Eubank. That's how he beat you know what I mean? That's what happens. You have to stick to your game plan, and he didn't do that. That's what happened, man.
So he went to game plan number 2, and he still whooped ass. That's a great fight. That's some great shit. Say, man, my second and third game plan.
He waited for an old man to guess out.
Beating this man ass.
He waited for an old man to guess out. That's a cheap tactic.
No, he hit him in the nuts. No, what he did is hit him in the nuts and gassed him out. Help him gas out. And he whooped him.
I'm going to be real, though, T. I'm going to be real, T, yeah? That's one thing. I'm not going to say that Badu Jack was repeatedly low blowing. No way. I'm not going to do that. I saw 2 clear, intentional low blows. Anything else after that was because of Stevenson's high cut. And it was high. That's why the point never got taken. You see that referee, I thought he refereed the fight all right. I thought he was refereeing.
He didn't have to get involved. Yep.
He let them fight. He didn't stink out. When the referees like to, act
make like themselves a star.
Yeah, celebrities. Yeah. He didn't do that. He
could have taken the point and been the decider, and that's always one of the things you hear refs say. They don't want to decide the point, or they don't want to
take a point. He would have lost the fight.
He would have lost the fight. Yeah. The refs say they don't want to decide the
fight. He showed an excellent chin as well.
Yeah, he took a punch.
Yeah. Badu Jack stayed punching referees.
Yeah, Jack's best punch was on the
Girl fight.
Yeah, it did happen in the Girl fight as well. Yep.
Yeah. That
Showtime commentary was trash for that though, because I felt like the ref did a good job, and I remember at one point the ref came in to break him up, and they were just saying, "Oh, the ref's not letting Jack fight the inside fight he wants to fight." I'm like, then what the hell else are they fighting?
He wasn't trying to. He was clinging on for dear life.
The ref broke him up when needed.
Yeah. Well, you know my feelings on that. I don't think there was excessive holding because, like I said, when you get hurt, you're taught, and EJ knows this, you're taught to hold, clinch. It's called clinching, not hold, not excessive holding. And it annoys me. I tell you why it annoys me, and I've said it time and time again. I'll say it again. When Muhammad Ali clinched, it was the sweet science. When you get a modern fighter do it, it's excessive holding. It can't be double standards. It's either a veteran tactic or it's not. To me, if you're hurt, you're gonna have to hold because you can't just stand there and take a beating. Yeah, so I reject when people are saying that Stevenson was holding too much. I reject that. When people are saying that Jack was hitting low too much, I reject that as well.
Yeah, I reject both of them. Yeah. I saw maybe 2 low blows.
Yeah, same here.
Hey, man.
I saw about five.
Ain't not wrong with taking a knee. Ain't not wrong with taking a knee.
I'm not going to argue over, whether it was 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? Regardless, it was what it was. It wasn't quite excessive. I'm glad the ref didn't take a point and decide things.
Ain't not wrong. Ain't not wrong with taking a knee. Ain't not wrong with taking a knee, or not wrong with taking a knee. These are tactics. The thing is, the reason why the referees these days, because they want the action to be flowing, so they break. Yeah. But ain't nothing wrong with the referee taking a point off. If the referee go and say excessive holding and think, take a point off, give me time to recover so I can whoop your ass when I recover, because that's all gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But fighters are too proud to say I'm gonna take a knee. I'm like, well, that's where you get your ass.
Sometimes they can't. You know what I mean? Sometimes they can't. If you're in the center of the ring. EJ, if you're standing in the center of the ring, right, you're not near the ropes, you're right in the center, and you're taking a beating, right? The first natural thing you're going to do is clinch. There's nothing wrong. You're not going to think to take a knee. I understand what you mean.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about like body shot.
Yeah, they used to take it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, take a knee. Now, when you tie up someone, right? When you tie up someone, you feel like that pain's excruciating, bro. Take a knee. Like guys don't want to do that. I talked to guys in pro gyms, and they said, "Nah, I'll never." I remember I was talking to Ian Lewison the time before, before he fought Joe Joyce and some of the dude. I mentioned the Joe Joyce one because he took a beating, right? And he was like, "I go, yeah, why you take a knee, man?" The guy looked at me like, "I will take a knee. I'm a gladiator. I'm a this and I'm a that." Is it?
That's 10-8. 10-8. You lose 10-8. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he was. Yeah, but listen. This is what I said. No. 1 minute, Doc. 1 minute. All right. So Beats, I understand it's a 10-8, but what I'm trying to say to you also, I understand it's 10-8, but it gives you time to get your breath back so you can master a next attack. If you take one round up, if you next round you go and knock the guy out, wasn't it worth it? You know what I'm saying? It's a strategy. When you're in there, it's strategy. There's things in place to make you survive. Like if you go at one of them dickhead guys who goes, "I'm gonna fight you in the center of the ring," and you're out there jabbing him in his face and keep moving, he's missing, he's hitting there. What's gonna happen to that guy? Is he not gonna get broken down? Because he's tired now, isn't it? And I'm gonna beat him up anytime I want. It's a strategy, bro. That's what the whole thing is. It's their design to do tactics to break you down. Now, if the guy was hitting him low in the balls, that was his strategy. What Lopez was putting out, so he can undermine the guy and trying to break him down. And he realized the guy was tougher than what you thought. All them weak tactics, all them bullshit tactics didn't work. End of the day, you're gonna have to fight. And when I saw Buddy Jack's body language, or when he got the same dosage, bro, he was running around like someone burnt his feet. He was like, woof, woof, woof. Give me some water. He was doomed up, bro. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, well, you give it now. You can take it, bitch ass.
He was running. He was hunched. He was running and hunched at the same time.
Yeah, he was hunched up. I was like, yeah, you bitch ass. Take your medicine. You know what I mean? And I've given him credit. He came back in the last round. And that's what
that was the fastest I ever seen Badu Jack feet, man.
Yeah, bro. He let him know. Never let him know what time. And you know what? There's more that coming.
There's
more that coming. If you, I want to see. Why do you call that? Why don't Buddy Jack? Buddy Jack. Hey. Buddy Jack's a G, right? If I was him, I'd call out Sergio Kovalev tomorrow. I go, fuck this shit. I'm going to fight Sergio Kovalev because Sergio Kovalev will be able to take that body shot. Yes. Go back. That's where you should go. You should go right there. You should go Mayweather, cool Kovalev's team, cool Cappy Duva. We're going down there to fight them guys. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even hang around with no fucking rematch. He's got a better chance against him. Yeah, he's got a better chance against Kovalev than he is against Adonis Stevenson.
Oh yeah, he's got exactly the style to beat Kovalev, in my opinion.
That's what I would read.
Yeah, because he'll break him down physically and mentally, and that's
because Kovalev, we're talking about stamina. He's got the worst compared to Stevenson. He's got
and he applies mental pressure, and he goes to the body. It's pretty. That could be. That's like the living nightmare for Kovalev.
Yeah, both of them were body Kovalev with the body shots. And even more in favor of Stevenson. Body Jack last night more with the body shots than Badu did.
Yeah. Why doesn't anybody want to see Stevenson and Kovalev though?
Well, we want to see that.
Who does?
Wait. Like the amount of time they try to get it on, and it's always
we didn't ignore it, Charlie. No one talks about it. We can't bother, man. It's like AJ and Wilder. It's like one of them ones that's like, oh, forget. I don't want to hear all about that no more. You know what I mean? I want to see that fight.
Kovalev haven't won the
fight. We want to see that fight, but bro, we don't talk about it.
You gotta want to fight. Badu Jack won the fight.
No.
Kovalev haven't wanted to.
Yeah. Let's get off that. Let's get off that.
We talked about that guy for so long, we talked about this thing for so long. We had enough. We don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah, let's not talk about. No. Let's not talk about Kovalev.
I'm about to talk about Alvarez. As far as like when y'all say Jack, I still think he should go for lineage. I just want him to clean that shit up and fight like a man, because he could, like, even in the 6th round when Stevenson in the 5th and the 6th when he rolled up on him with them inside uppercuts, Jack kept his technique and he still fought beautifully. Like, he should have kept doing that shit, but you know, he went dirty. I didn't like that. But he should still try to fight Stevenson again. Alvarez himself, his manager, not his manager, but his trainer said, yo, we think we can win the Kovalev fight easier than the Stevenson fight. So they went that route. Jack don't need to wait on them. Jack need to get that fight popping for, you know.
Lovelace trying to get his guy folded up like that guy Streisand.
Hey, I'm gonna say something. I think Body Jack, I think they made a mistake. I know that he couldn't make at 168, but bro, I'll be honest with you, that dude should have stayed in that weight class, because he missed out on mega paydays, bro. He's a big gamble to come up here. Because look, listen to this, right? He missed out on how much millions did they get? 50 mil? It was 50 mil, right? He could have entered that tournament, right? And got himself 10. He got $1 million paydays, right? $1 million paydays in a European tournament, which he'll arguably he would have been in the final, right? Because he's quite durable. He took all that pay cut to jump up into a weight class now and to fall short, to have a draw. Man, I think they made a mistake. I think he should have stayed at 168. He was there for so long, bro. Yeah, I know. We've got rematch clause, but that, no, in the day, yours it's the pay, bro. He could, I don't know if Stevenson would have still been there. You know what I mean? So he missed out on a big payday, and you know what I mean? Look, rematches with George Groves. He'd been all them dudes there. They gonna be sitting there scratching their head like, what we gonna do now, Mayweather? Man was like, well, I don't know. You the one who said you want me to go up there. You said you won't beat him, so that was it. You had your chance, man. You ain't gonna be Adonis Stevenson again, though. I'm just letting him know. You ain't gonna be Adonis Stevenson again like that in Canada.
You think he can make that weight, really?
Just like you.
Yeah, I do.
No, EJ, he can't make that weight. Body Jack cannot make that
10 mil? No.
He was 187 pounds. He was 187 pounds away from the 30-day weight.
Anyone can make the weight.
He would have been even overweight for the 30-day weigh-in, bro. He can't make it.
Mayweather have been giving him steaks and potatoes, right? That's what happened to him. When Mayweather start hanging around with him,
he can't do
good food. He can do whatever. Like I see dudes. Dude, he can make 168. He just don't want to no more. That's what he got.
EJ knows, man. There's many fights. When the money's on the table, you'll make it, man. You won't have that extra. You won't have that extra fried chicken. You know what I mean?
He'd be sick.
No. So is it worth $1 million to get sick?
Yeah, he's sick.
I mean, seriously. I mean, come on, man.
You think Chad Dawson would have won the 168-pound tournament?
We talk about 7 pounds here. We're talking about 7 pounds.
Chad Dawson would have won the 168-pound tournament?
A lot of weight.
If you drink a liter of water, you go on the scales, it's got to be about 3-4 pounds.
No, bro.
You can't eat either, bro.
I got an honest question about this exact what you're talking about here with the weight. Because I don't read all the extra media stuff as much as you guys, so you'll know, you know what I mean. But to my knowledge, I hadn't heard anything about Badu Jack struggling like that to make weight until the result for that fight came out.
Yeah, to the result. No. It was after the James DeGale fight.
That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the DeGale fight.
Yeah, let me just finish a second.
They were saying, "Oh yeah, you had trouble making weight." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and what happened was when they asked Badu Jack, "Do you want the rematch?" He said, "Yeah, man, I want the rematch." And it was Mayweather that cut in.
You're right.
Said, no, you can't make the weight. You can't make. Remember. You
That's
remember
what I'm saying.
Thank you, Charlie.
He's not popular, so he doesn't get the coverage. But I'll tell you, I follow him, so I know this. Even after the what's the third fight? Before the Butte fight, he was calling out Adonis Stevenson. Even then, saying he wanted to go to 75 and fight Adonis Stevenson.
He win it.
There was no way he was making 68. It just wasn't.
Yeah. He got his chance, and he got his chance, and he fell up short. Yeah. Well, my point is, I understand. Listen, he thought the guy was going to be old, and they gonna come in there and roll him over, and that wasn't the case, bro. And now I'm saying to you, now they have to reevaluate. They should have stayed at 168 and jumped in the damn tournament where all the names were, and then come after. You know what I mean? Ain't no one. What Donald Stevenson would have still been there. I'm saying he missed out some mega paydays where basically I got him. If he was in that tournament, I'd have him winning the tournament right now. I'd have had him winning the tournament. All them guys would have got mowed over.
Bigger than Chad Dawson. You think Chad Dawson would have won a 168-pound tournament win? No, he had to make that weight 3 times.
I'm talking about Budler Jack.
I know, but he's bigger. He's bigger than Chad Dawson.
Hey, they go sit down. He missed out. He missed out some paydays.
So EJ, what you're saying is you don't buy it that he can't make the weight.
Nah.
Because it's happened to me.
It's over now.
When I first heard it, it came out to me like an excuse because it was right after that decision against the game.
Listen. End of the day, right? You got to make you got options, right?
Chad Dawson's the same height as Badou Jack as well, by the way.
Listen, they just as big.
Listen, see George Groves, right? See James Miguel, right? So you unify with about James Miguel, and whether you was going to win or not, you already said you're going to move up already. We're going to chase Adonis Stevenson. Fine, but what I'm trying to say to you is that, in retrospect, look at the tournament. Look how much money is being passed down. You missed all that dough, and all them opponents you could have probably mowed through. Is what my point was. And now you got on Adonis Stevenson, and Adonis Stevenson took it out of you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know if Budler Jack's gonna be the same guy again.
Should drop back down to 140 then, right? He should go. No, he can't make it. It just does not gonna happen, EJ.
I don't know if Budler Jack's gonna be the same person again. That's why I know, because I know Adonis Stevenson's good to go, man. He said he's good to go tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's what I know. So
I don't believe that. You got to make decisions. Nah, I don't believe when he says
you don't believe him?
You reckon Badou Jack's got that Keith Thurman body? EJ, is that what's going on?
I know he's confident, though. I know he can be better. I know he's confident. I know he's confident. I know that, bro.
I agree with EJ on that one, that he's thing, because he didn't seem bitter after the fight and make excuses. Badou Jack was the one that said, they got to think they might. Well, he didn't say that they do, but he said they might have an agenda against Floyd. I don't know. Maybe they're jealous of Floyd.
Well, look, here's the thing. I think Badou Jack is not upset about the actual result of the fight. He's more upset about how many times he's got to get draws. He's like, dude, I'm getting like 3 or 4 draws in my big fights. What the hell's going on?
Start early. Start fast.
You ain't no draw. He ain't no draw. He ain't even from the bloody country, man. He ain't even from the country. He's from bloody initially.
You can't leave it too late. You can't leave it too late, man. I agree. In boxing, I hate when trainers do that. There's a lot of trainers like that. We'll just drag him out, and then you can come strong in the end. Nah, this is some stupid shit.
When it's 1 or 2 close fights, you know what I mean? That's one thing. But when it's like how many split and majority decisions and 4 draws,
Charlie, listen to this, right?
Examine.
I got something for the word.
I watched the fight. I watched the fight yesterday, right? In the York Hall, and what Charlie said is exactly what happened. Like, I'm uploading it now, right? Nathan Wees, versus K Prosper, right? Same thing happened. You can hear the commentary the whole fight because I'm uploading. You hear the whole fight. The commentary said exactly. The trainer said exactly what Charlie said. Nathan Wees was taking a beating from K Prosper. And the trainer goes, don't worry about it. Let him blow his load. Let him blow load. We're gonna come late. We're getting back later. That never happened, and he got knocked out. That's some bullshit. Someone put it on you. I'm putting it on him. That's what it is. I ain't waiting around you let you touch me up. Touch me up for what? And I'm gonna come late. Nah. Right. Because you get beat up so badly in the early rounds, you ain't got no energy left. Because every time you get hit or you throw a hit, you lose energy. So he got beat up. His body was sore.
And you lose
he couldn't even throw no punches after. Yeah, and that's what happened to him. That's what happened. And the trainer would tell him, and the trainers would tell him to hold back. They would tell him to hold back. And then when the trainer goes, why don't you let your hands go? You told him to hold back. I was listening to this shit. I was like, what the fuck? I said, he's getting a beating, y'all. You got him to fight now. Like, he was so wound up. Listen, man, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. I ain't holding back for no one. I'm going to pull it on you early, fast, and thick. Yeah, and we're going to go. Because your conditioning, you should have trained hard enough to go them down. You should have trained hard enough. And Budler Jack obviously did. But his strategy is to take your time, keep working him, keep breaking him down, and in the late rounds, come hard. And it didn't work out. You know what I mean? He ain't George Groves. None of that bullshit, man. That's a wrong strategy.
You got to look at, yeah? You see Josh Warrington yesterday. Josh Warrington didn't wait to find out if he could outbox Mike. He knew he couldn't. The crowd roared him on. Fair enough that Jack didn't have that. And he put everything into it. Right? All this I'm gonna flag down the stretch. Okay, let me flag. If I coast out and I get a big lead, then you have to come stop me. And that's how you see what I remember Jim Watt always said. He looks like he wants to take a rest. Maybe we can rest tomorrow. You know what I mean? Keep fighting. And that's well champ. That's the mentality that the old school guys take to. You can rest tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be to Adonis Stevenson, though, Beats. That's not cool.
No.
You keep saying
that. You keep saying that. I've watched boxers. I've watched people fight punch Adonis Stevenson for years, and they've got me. And people have done what they did. I see Stanley Ketchum on film walk into Jack Johnson and floor him, right? A middleweight against a big, solid Jack Johnson. And he got knocked out.
And he got his ass beat.
You got it.
He got laid out. He got fucking flat.
Yeah, man. You'll take either way you got to do, whether it's going to be at the start or the end, at some point you're going to have to take gamble. Because you're getting your ass whooped in there, which will happen. He got his ass whipped. And this is what I try to say about that dude, right? The dude fights in a certain way. It's comfortable to him. And he tries to beat. But everyone knows what you're doing now, bro. We know what you're doing. It's studied. You're going to start slow, try and let people blow their load. But Donald Stevenson starts fast and hard. And he was putting it on him. You know what I mean? He made the man come out. Maybe he made a Budler Jack come out of his show early. But you can't be becoming. You understand you respect him, but you're trying to take the man's mantle. Take the man's belt, his livelihood, his money, and his table. He ain't gonna hand the keys over to you. He gonna come to fight, and that's what Donald Stevenson did. He digged in and fought, and then next fight he gonna be better than that. He's gonna be better. I don't know if Budler Jack's gonna be better because it seems to me
what Stevenson's gonna have to do. Yeah, what Stevenson's gonna have to do is gonna keep the fight from long range. He can't give Budler Jack a chance to fight the inside.
No. I think he's gonna do. Dan, he's done it before. He's not gonna. He's not gonna do that. You know what he's gonna do, Dan? You know what he's going to do? He's going to go in and he's going to improve his repertoire of punches in the inside. That's what he's going to do. I bet he's going to improve it. He's going to say, you know what? I'm going to go back in there. Yeah. And that, this is what he's going to do, Dan. He's going to go inside first and then come out after. Not the other way around. He's going to go in. He's going to go in there and touch him early in inside. And then when that hurts,
no. What I mean by that, I see what you're saying. From the outside, what Steven did, what he was able to do to get back in the inside, he was able to jab from the outside to the body. That's what he got Jack hurt from. That's what I'm saying. Keep your range, keep your distance, jab to the body from the outside. When you're doing that, when you see Jack getting hurt, then you go for it, take a chance. That's what I'm saying.
No. I'm saying
you want to remind him early, don't you, EJ? Go to the body. You want to remind him.
That's it. That's what he's going to do. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. You start off where you left off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what you do. You go right back in there. And this is what I'm saying. And you see Budler Jack. Yeah. And you see Budler Jack. Really and truly, I know he made the man's nose bleed, but other than that, the damage was severe.
He busted his mouth too. He made his mouth bleed too.
But he look at Budler Jack's body language. His body language was severe. You see that big guy jump on 1 foot. He was on 1 foot. You know how big that man was, and he had one jump on 1 foot. How much he was in? You heard him whiz like a bitch, man. What? He was. That shit was funny as hell. And Donald Stevenson saw that shit. He's like, all right, and he gonna be more confident. He don't mind that shit. I'll tell you that Donald Stevenson's a tough dude. He like Archie. He's coming like Archie Moore. You one of them guys will hold on to that bloody belt for a minute. Huh?
Well, let me ask y'all this.
Like, I remember Dan saying on the hangout when Adonis started walking him down, you was like, he making a mistake. I was like, nope. Budler Jack is too smart to get hit with that left. Budler Jack took the left hand to the head away, unlike any other opponent.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't need to be close.
I gotta give him credit. Yeah, he tried that uppercut about 100 times.
No, I'm talking about the straight left.
He did get hit with that left hand.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
But it ain't have that kind of start.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he took the straight left, and then like middle to the late rounds, Adonis tried the uppercut umpteen times. He couldn't get the uppercut quite flush either.
Well, it's because he was getting smothered. That's what happened. He was getting smothered. He couldn't get his shots off.
He was tired. He was dead tired.
He was getting hurt. Exactly.
He was hurt and tired. Yeah, he was both of them. He was both of those. That's why he can't do it when he's fresh. When they tried that when he was fresh, he got hit with a lot of.
All right, let me get Beats get it.
Go ahead, Beats. That belt, right? Now Mayweather is one of the greatest ever, but Mayweather is Mayweather, right? All these boxers try, all right, we're gonna start cautioning you, right? That's okay. It might work for Floyd or whatever, right? But the whole point is, right? He needed a coach to say, listen, man, listen. You've got to take away weapons. You got to use your youth and force that pace on it, right? And listen, boxers can be elusive and be aggressive. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole skill to winning titles, right? I see Jeff Fennick. I'm going to keep using them old school examples, right? When he fought the Puerto Rican guy, Calais, I've got a video on my boxing hangouts. This guy Calais was lifting the people off the ground with uppercuts, bro. Lifting them off the ground. And Fenech beat the crap out of this guy. He couldn't believe Fenech was taking it to him. He took it to him and beat him up. And I tell you what, but the Mayweather mentality, that's not really the mentality in the gym. Well, maybe Tank. Yeah. Maybe Tank. But I think that's partly it.
Listen to this.
Even the rope. Even the rope.
I got some stats for you. I got some stats for you. I got some stats for you. The person who took him, the person who took Buddy Jack all the way was Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. He was the one who made him win the title, and he was the one win all the championship fights. Lou Deville only came on late, bro. So arguably in the corner. Maybe the right advice and game plan was wrong, because I'm sure Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, if we talked to him, I'm sure he had a different game plan. And he would have said, fucking start early and fast and put it on him. I'm sure he would have said that, bro. So, you only pay for what you got in the corner.
Remember that.
No, but Eddie Mustafa, that was his former weight class, bro. And this guy's a legend at light heavyweight. He would have had a completely different input into what you need to do to take the title at that point. You know what I'm trying to say to you, what you need to do, because he was a master tactician, bro. A master tactician. He considered he's a Hall of Famer. You put that guy in the corner, right? Listen, they treated Eddie Mustafa poorly. But I'm telling you what, well, that just shows you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, people overlook that at a little point. But let's look.
A lot of places said fighting the southpaw. I've got a video up with Eddie Muhammad and Mr. Bashir how to fight a southpaw.
Margaret Johnson.
Yeah.
I understand that, but it's, when you get in there, listen, you can't find sparring partners for Adonis Stevenson. They're not there. All right. So when you get in there and you say, okay, I'm taking his left, you can't find them. They're not there. It's not people like him in boxing right now with that southpaw stance and that long ass.
Marcus Johnson. I mean Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown. What about him? They could have got him.
No, he's not like him. He's a right hooker from that left.
So hire Lou Duval to spar.
Let me make my point. When you get in there, total fucking different things. I'm about to run up on this long arm southpaw who's pushing me back himself, and then when I meet him shoulder to shoulder, he lands uppercuts that lift my head up and make me lose the rounds and start low blowing. Badu Jack just couldn't win that fight, so he needed to stay away.
It's hard to find southpaw stop sparring anyway. To tell you
but and there ain't no way.
You've only got Marcus Brown and Mikhailin that are top. And Blake
McAllen,
Caparello, and Blake Caparello, and then and Thomas Williams Jr. is southpaw too. Other than that, all the rest are not really good. So
somebody say Blake McAllen.
But there are some young and southpaws that are quick.
Listen. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Eddie Mustafa knows how to fight southpaws.
That's what I was going to say. There ain't no way Lou Duval knows better than Eddie Mustafa Muhammad how to train to fight no southpaw. I don't give a crap.
Yeah, so you pay for
how he fought.
You pay for what you get. So you got rid of Eddie Mustafa Muhammad and you just gave him a text.
Lou Duval for sparring.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Lou Duval was a southpaw too, though.
But he ain't a Hall of Famer.
I understand that, but I still,
he ain't a Hall of Famer though. Yeah, he is. Eddie Mustafa's in the Hall of Fame, bro.
He ain't in the Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
He is. He's in the Vegas one. He's in the Vegas one. In the Vegas one, yes, he is.
I don't care. No, I'm okay with that.
No, he is Hall of Fame. Yes, he is Hall of Fame. And he's in the double BC Hall of Fame as well. What are you talking about?
Oh, bro. EJ, he's not in the recognized Hall of Fame.
No,
that's a good fight. That's a good template. That fight with Marvin Johnson.
There's more than one Hall of Fame. What are you talking about? There's the International Hall of Fame. There's other, okay then. They're all credible. What I'm trying to say to you is that.
It's a recognized. It's not the recognized.
No, they're recognized. They're recognized.
It's not.
No, they're recognized.
Okay,
they are recognized. Floyd Mayweather got inducted in as well. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He is inducted in the Hall of Fame.
He is.
Yeah, no, leave it.
That's not the point. The point is, he's a better trainer than Lou Duval.
That's the point. And that's it. Yeah, that's right. And that's what I'm
coming. Was talking about Muhammad's not the International Boxing Hall of Fame. What are you talking about, bro?
It says here on Seconds Out, there's a video. It says Eddie Mustafa Muhammad inducted into Hall of Fame. with an exclamation mark. I rendered people unconscious. I'm going to post it up in the chat.
What Hall of Fame is that?
No. Yeah, it's Charlie. It's not international. It's the WBC or it's the Vegas one. But listen, listen to this, right? I know that already. But what I'm trying to say to you, he's still credible. What I'm trying to say to you, all right, listen. He's a better all round. Yeah, he knows what's going on. All I'm trying to point out is at some point, Lou Duval. I mean, did he even win a world title? Did he win a world title at light heavyweight?
He did.
Was he better?
That's who he unified with.
But he put the caliber. I know he fought Roy Jones, but he went to Roy.
I thought he beat Virgil Hill.
Yeah,
he won that fight.
Them guys ain't Marvel Johnson and
they're not. No, he's definitely not.
And they're not Michael Spinks, are they? Yeah, this is what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, then. So let's get rid of it, right? So I'm saying to you, you get what you pay for. So he got Lou Duval who cheerlead him, who say, "Oh, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna give you the pom poms and give you all the fucking pop all you want." But Mayweather and all that shit. But the guy who brought you in, because when we interviewed Eddie Mustafa, he came over, didn't know a lick of English. Eddie Mustafa had him up in his house. He was the one who looked after the kid from young. He was there coaching to a world title and let him keep on. He threw him underneath the bus, right? He threw him underneath the bus for no reason other than that he just wanted to go with Lou Duval. And I'm just saying to you,
he said he threw him under the bus because Eddie threw him under the bus when he got knocked out. And then he went with Lou. But I will admit this. He's no, he
didn't say that. No, he didn't say that.
Yeah,
no, he didn't say that.
Eddie Mustafa. Eddie Mustafa never said that.
Eddie Mustafa. Hold on. Did he talk to you? Did he talk to you directly? Because I talked to Eddie. Now we talked to Eddie Mustafa directly, so you just heard it from a quote. You didn't hear him directly. So what I'm going to say to you, Eddie Mustafa said, right. Even when he got enough that he coached him all the way. He coached him all the way up to a world title, right, and stayed with him. It was Badou-Jack who then decided to get rid of him, right. And I'm saying to you, because of that, when you got rid of a world-class trainer, this is in the most critical fight of your career. Maybe he gave you the wrong advice. That's what, because remember that. I mean, that's what we're debating here about the strategy, isn't it? So that's what we're saying. All right.
Can I add something here? Can I add something real quickly? Let me ask you a question, man. Who's a stronger man in inside in the clinches, Stevenson or Jack?
They both were strong as shit, but a few times you saw Badou-Jack being able to really push him back. But at the same time, Stevenson, he's fucking strong. I didn't know he was that strong.
So you saying who you edge it to?
It was a 55-45 Jack, but okay. He got real in there.
Okay, then maybe Jack could do that in rematch. Maybe
and it's even. And let me say this. Let me say this. The stamina of Stevenson was low, and he was still fucking strong. So maybe if he's fresh, Badou-Jack isn't the stronger man. But to what EJ's saying, I'm not talking about Eddie's word. I'm talking about Badou-Jack said when he got knocked out, everybody in that Mayweather gym shunned him, including Eddie some. And he went down to Florida with Lou Duval, who was the only person working with him. And he asked Lou Duval to come out and live in Vegas and work with him. So, and also I'm going to say this. In my opinion, Lou Duval coached him to a lineal and a unified championship win. Now, I do think
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They don't in Vegas.
Hold on. I'll let you finish.
In my opinion, after he got knocked out,
he was a better body puncher under Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, but he dropped Eddie before the Groves fight. I mean, before the Gale fight, excuse me. And I think he still won that title. I don't think Lou Duval is bad, but I think Eddie Mustafa Muhammad taught him to be a better body puncher. But if you fight Stevenson on the inside, you get it.
It was Eddie who masterminded the Darrell fight.
I didn't say the Darrell fight. I know that. It was a great performance. I think they're both good coaches, Beats. That's what I said. Eddie's good. He's damn good. But
what he said about he took him away.
If Eddie was there, yeah. If Eddie was there, you see all them draws he's getting, they'd probably be W's.
Yeah.
I don't know because he was still getting the draws with Eddie. The Butte fight was a draw.
That wasn't no draw to me.
It's not a draw.
Jack was.
Remember, the man was on Peds, yeah, right, and they reversed it to a win. A win. Yeah. That's a win under Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Okay, it's a win.
Yeah,
I know what he's talking about. Took him away.
Even with
I know he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. Why did Luther Val go fight his own fighters? You know what I mean? The brother lost, yeah? Right? Someone's playing some radio in the background. I'm getting some feedback.
That's what I'm telling you.
Someone plays some radio in the background. So I get some feedback. Right? Anyway, hey, Doc, it's you, yeah? Doc, it's coming from you.
I got a mute button, bro.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so anyway, yeah. So listen to this, right? He took him out. The guy that's lost in the knockout. You know what we won't crap up the dude for? Because the guy massaged his ego and told him all the things he needs to hear. That's why he went with him. That's some bullshit. Dude, the guy came for playing, bro. He didn't go no English, and no one cared about him. When Mayweather wasn't even looking to hire him. Mayweather was looking to hire Darrell, right? Yeah. And then Mayweather goes, yeah, spar this guy. And it was Eddie Mustafa when he was no one. No one. Mayweather didn't even look at him. Eddie Mustafa, you come live with me, and I look up. Nah, man, that's some bullshit, bro. That's some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro, that's some fucked up shit. And all I'm saying is this, right? Because we question his strategy. So I just came to the conclusion that maybe it's the guy in the corner giving the wrong information, bro. And over there with the pom-poms. I understand Lee DeVille was a guy, but bro, he ain't no Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. That's what I know. I'm Mr. Bashir. I'm not saying no, hold up. No, when Mr. Bashir will tell you that Eddie Mustafa had him and them, they talk about Ali because they were around them days there. That man got peer knowledge, bro. Peer knowledge. Them, I know Lou DeVal were rolling around Ali's camp and all them man there. That guy was, nah, man, I'm telling you. It's probably, if we're going to question the strategy, you have to look at the man in the corner. The man in the corner was Lou DeVal. He has to take responsibility. Because no, I ain't questioning, because you know what?
The same strategy Sugar Hill,
you just told him to run up on Sugar Hill would have lost the title, I would have questioned Sugar Hill. But I ain't questioning Sugar Hill. I'm not questioning Sugar Hill's game plan. Maybe they was like off, or maybe whatever. But all I know is they adjusted, and they made the adjustments required for them to hold on to their belt. All I'm saying is, Buddy Jack, you have to look at himself and say, bro, who have I got? Where can I turn to now? Because, bro, you ain't in a good place right now. Because you're gonna take it on the B side. You're gonna go after other people's yards. I don't think you want to fight Adonis Stevenson again. If he does, good luck to you, bro. Good luck. You ain't getting paid that much.
He ain't never ducked nobody, so I don't think he is going to duck the fight.
I ain't saying
but you got to realize what you just said as well. You just told him a minute ago fight Kovalev with Lou DeVal. Like, you don't see the things you're saying doesn't match with your criticism of Lou DeVal. Like, I'm not saying he's Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and I'm not saying he whispered in his ear and made him feel good. He actually worked with him in Florida. He was the only person willing to still work with him.
Why are you talking about? Why is he taking other people's fighters? He's coaching.
I'll let you finish.
He's coaching.
Yeah,
you're right.
Eddie Mustafa Muhammad wasn't willing to work with his own fighter, and he was in his corner.
He feels that Lou DeVal was the guy who helped him improve, and he learned more under Lou DeVal. Lou DeVal was the guy. He felt that Lou DeVal was the guy holding the pass. And like I said, Lou DeVal has put him in fights with two top fighters, in my opinion, and he didn't really disappoint me that damn much. Did he win? No, but every fight's not going to be win-lose. Every fight's not going to be a win. But as long as I'm happy as a fan, I'm cool with that. I mean,
I've seen this before.
I've seen this before. Badu Jack is a great fighter.
Don Charles was with Derek Chisora, right? And Derek Chisora lost, right? And then there was a trainer at the time who was in Don Charles's camp. What did Derek Chisora do? He picked up on that trainer because that guy was good to him and left Don Charles. And then when things were going fucked up, he went right back to Don Charles. All I'm saying is this: that guy poached him, right? Why did he go find his own fighter? Why you have to go behind the guy who brought you in? Because look, Eddie Mustafa must have gave him a job.
This is what happened. Like, because DeVal was in the setup, right? But what it was, Jack wanted to cut down on costs.
Yep.
And Eddie, obviously being a top-notch operator, cost him money. That's why Eddie was relieved he was doing it.
Yeah, but Beast, watch this, right? Yeah, Beast. But listen to this speech. Yeah, but listen to this speech, right? This is what I'm trying. That was my whole point, right? So Lou DeVal said, I'm not going to take as much as Eddie, so that's why he went with him. And because he went with him and you went cheaper, that's why your results are going where they are. That's what I'm saying. In this game, you can't be cheap. In this game, you can't be cheap, bro. Look what happened to David Price. David Price, who was his trainer? Tommy Brooks, right? David Price and Tommy Brooks, a known world trainer, right? He fired him and got some guy in his local end in Liverpool. And since then, show me the results of David Price's record. Since then, when he got rid of Brooks.
That's what I'm saying. I can tell you results of Badu's. He's been in high level fights.
Draws.
David Bryson.
Hey, man. He got draws. He got 2 draws. He got 2 draws in his last fight. 2 draws in his last fight, bro.
You still want to see him?
No, it was 2. How many fights?
Hold on. How many fights?
How many fights? Yeah, I know. I heard what you said. I heard what you said. I'm asking you a question. How many fighters in the last 2 fights have 2 draws back to back?
It's not last 2 fights. He has 2 draws in 3 fights. When you fight, if you fight as good as competition he's been fighting
against elite competition. Against elite competition.
Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Like he's been doing, maybe you'll see more, but a lot of people don't do that. That's why he need to be praised, whether critiquing him this way. It's ridiculous.
No one's taking that way.
Yeah, but listen, here's the thing. Wait, hold on, BJ. But here's the thing. We praise him for fighting all these champions back to back, like 6, 7 straight times. But at the end of the day, a draw is a draw. You don't get rewarded for getting a draw, bro.
He got his purse. He got his purse. Yeah,
and
but he's gonna get more.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's a reward.
When your career get assessed, they get assessed by who you fought and who you beat. That's it. In fact, he's getting.
I can tell you this: if a guy has 10, I can tell you this: if a guy has 10 world title fights and they all versus elite guys, and he got 10 draws in that fight, and one guy got 2 big wins from nobody, and that's the only people fight. Fuck that guy with 2. I'm glad you gave me 10 fights. Thank you. I support you highly. I don't give a shit about the rest. He's doing his part, and ain't too many others doing it like him. Like your boy Ward, Kovalev, they didn't want to run up on that. They didn't even want to see if they could implement their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th game plan. They that shit and said, no, thank you.
Here we go.
Jack went to the count. Jack said, game plan number 1 don't work. Let's go to 2. Number 3. They just said, no, thank you.
He didn't even try game plan.
So you're not
fair, yeah? Fair is fair. Yeah. If you're going to talk about Badou Jack, one thing you can't critique is who he won't step in the ring.
Fucking right, Beats.
Right, I agree with that.
Legit. Yeah. And so you're not with him complaining about the judges and all that.
No, I don't fuck with that. I mean, but that's separate. You know, like he said that Mayweather shit, and I was just like, this time I actually felt he deserved to draw. Other times I didn't, but this time he was wrong. Like. He ain't get no sympathy on me on this one.
Is it because of Stevenson?
Fair enough.
No, it's not because Steve. Just because he got hurt. He got hurt.
To be fair, he didn't bring it up because it was Jim Gray said to him, what's going on? How come you're not getting decisions? Like, what do you feel you need to do to impress the judges? And then he came back with maybe it's because I'm in Mayweather. I don't know, maybe judges hate Mayweather. Okay. That's how the question came from Jim Gray.
There was 2 Badou Jacks in every weight class in boxing. Boxing would be excellent.
It still is
Badou Jacks in every weight class. Boxing would be excellent.
I don't know about that, boy.
I want him with Badou Jack. Tell me someone he hasn't been back down from. He fights everyone. He fights anyone.
I know about that, man. I ain't rolling with Badou Jack, man.
That's facts, man. That's facts.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying that he don't fight no one. I'm sure that they got Lomachenko fights everyone. Lomachenko was to fight everyone.
No, Badou Jack ain't fighting 122 pounders, DJ. Badou Jack ain't doing that.
It was a what? It was a beast? Was that?
122 pounders.
Badou Jack fights unifications.
I'm not worried about that unification. I'm just saying he fights
in the last 2 years. He's fought for lineage 2 times.
Why are we talking over?
Lomachenko's never fought for lineage.
Why are you talking over? And then nothing as well. Crawford as well. Now I'm talking to Beats though, because Beats asked the question. You're just talking over. I'm talking Crawford as well. Crawford. Come on, man. Stop it already.
Crawford did what? He ain't fought for lineage in 2 years, and that's what back to back 2 years.
Wait, hold up. Wait, we ain't talking about that. But Crawford's already a 2-time lineal champion. What are you talking about? But go back to
I hear you, but he's not in that span. And like Badou Jack said, okay, done with the Gale.
Bring it, man. Stop it already, man.
Nah, man.
It didn't happen. Crawford fought for lineage in 2014.
He got to take some photos to Terrence Crawford.
Yes, he does. Easily.
Well, he's fought better opposition. Again, I agree. Look. Here's the thing. I agree he's fought better opposition than Crawford. But again, what matters most is can you get those wins? How can you get
that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here.
You can't get the wins if you don't take the fights, though.
Yeah, we take the fights, but you listen. He's taking the fights, against guys that he knows the thing. He should have stayed at 168 and just rinse that division, bro. Just stay there. Why are you jumping out into the frying pan? He jumped into the frying pan, and now look at him now, looking dumb and that. It's a great fight, and I like him fighting the best competition, right? And I ain't gonna criticize him. We're just more or less criticizing the strategy. It was a great fight, and let's see what Buddy Jack's next. I'm just saying he should fight Coleman. That's what we're doing. And I ain't trying to say he ain't trying to fight the best. No one's going. And it's the end of the day. You look at the last names he done. They're absolutely right. You can't live on the past, bro. You just live in the present. And if from time you're talking about, look what I've done in my past, like fuck that. This is right now. You got to fight Adonis Stevenson here. If you look at all the names he's bet, who's the biggest name? Who's the biggest baddest name on his resume? It was Adonis Stevenson. So you couldn't bring that to the party about all you fought before. Adonis Stevenson is undefeated. I'm not undefeated. Undefeated is the most dangerous guy that he was facing today. You know what I mean? Give him credit for that. But that's what it is. We're questioning the strategy.
The credit will be much better with the win, but I don't know, man. Ain't too many people supposed to.
You know, things well. Where was the guy? And let me tell you, so I'll tell you right now, I'm jumping on the Adonis Stevenson curse because the curse was in effect. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. No, I'm Adonis Stevenson curse. It was in effect. It was in effect. Yeah, it was. Your Adonis Stevenson curse was in effect. You've been talking about it for so long. It was in effect. Yeah, well,
I can tell you what's gonna bring it.
That's why the fight was a draw.
What's gonna bring it? Badu Jack hitting them with them low blows. Them low blows and stuff, he might have a problem like that because he was doing that on purpose.
That's why the fight was a draw. That's why the fight was a draw, dude. So the fight was a draw. Adonis Stevenson Kirk was
them low blows, man. Them low blows was not called for, Badu. You didn't have to pull that war shit, bro. You better than that.
So because the low plays, Adonis was a victim of his own curse?
No, there wasn't no curse on.
Oh, shit. This guy. Oh, man.
Right, they rated Bivol higher than Jack. No, I don't know. Come on, man. I don't know about that. I don't know.
All right, let's move on from the Stevenson-Jack fight. I mean, good fight, but I know there's some good points from both sides.
Who Bivol fight next? Like
that we don't know. We don't know yet. But I think what Kathy was trying to do is trying to set up him and Kovalev. So Kovalev's got to get past Alvarez to make that fight happen for the unification. So that's probably the next fight that's going to be made for him. But yeah, speaking of, and let's talk about the Josh Warrington and Lee Selby fight. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys seen the fight, but I seen it. All I can say is what the fuck happened with those scorecards. I mean, Josh Warrington definitely won the fight. He was the rightful winner, but somebody scored that split decision and gave Selby 115, 113. Can anybody give
split decision? It's a split decision. I agree with it. It was split decision. It was fair. It was fair, man. It was fair.
What?
No. What? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
no, EJ. No one. Selby took you trolling with that.
I'm only joking. Nah, he took a beat. He took a beating, bro. I agree with you. He took a beating. Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think anyone pointed out. You see that referee? That referee was the same referee was in there with Eric Hunter. Check it out on footage. That same referee. They had all these things in place to make sure Selby holding onto his belt, and they couldn't stop him. Hey, all credit, to Josh Warrington, because I didn't think he would go win. He beat the shit out of Lee Selby, and I'm happy. I'm happy he did, because you know what? End of the day, they were holding onto that belt. They weren't fighting no one. And they weren't doing shit. And maybe Lee Selby gives the belt up, or maybe he loses against Carl Frampton. And so what? But them dudes, they were getting on funny. And you know, English shows there's corruption. It wasn't a split decision. It was a unanimous decision. It should have been. But the right man won. We got the scorecards. Hey, listen, there's corruption everywhere, bro. But that's what it was, man. Hey, listen, the right man won, and that's what it comes down to, though, in my opinion, anyway.
Reese, you want to add something into there? And Charlie, you can get in afterwards?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, right? When that fight was signed, I saw the first press conference at Ellen Road. And like I've been in football stadiums with Leeds United fans, and they wouldn't let us leave the ground until they and the way they were going at Josh Warrington at Lee Selby, he said he didn't care. I said it don't matter what you're saying here, unless you're an exceptional boxer, it's hard to block that kind of intimidation out. Then they tried to get out of his van and whatever and attack him, and they were drowning him out when he was shouting. And I could, even though he said it wasn't bothering him, I think he was trying to convince himself it wasn't bothering him. Yes, listen, that's why people fight for home territory and purse bids and stuff, right? And I said before the fight, you can listen in the hangout. I said you've got to realize, right? This is like an extra pair of hands for Josh Warrington, because that's what it does. It fuels you up, right? And it can work against you because you might get too reckless. when you're buoyed up by the fans. But this worked for him, right? That drove him forward, man. And Selby just couldn't stop the hurricane, man. Although I had it about 7-5, to be honest. I didn't like which is relatively tight. But Selby couldn't stop the hurricane. What shocked me, man, like in the first round, he got hit by a left hook and it rocked him. And Warrington ain't got no power. I said, uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. And his belt was gone. And his legs looked dead. Like, you see the problem with Selby, right? Is a problem with a lot of the English fighters, right? The only way he can defend himself is if he's using his legs, right? You put him in close, he can't defend himself. He's like a child. He's like an amateur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, reflexes. Yeah, the reflexes, all the big reflexes of, you're right. That's where he got punched up. He timed him well. He just timed him. He's an out brawler, slugger is Warrington, and he brawled him and slugged him out. Beautiful, you know. Very good. Remember Castidis a bit. Mike Castidis. That jumping on what B said, yeah. Listen, he just timed him well and beat him up. And I'm glad he took the belt, man. I'm so glad he took the belt. Because you know what? End of the day in boxing, listen, dude, fighting subpar opponents. That's what happens. Josh Warrington wanted the fight. He was fighting. He had better opponents where he had good opponents leading up to it. But what was Selby doing? Who's Selby fighting? Who the Goozy? I can't remember the last two guys he even fought. Never heard of him. Never been then. Never has been. Never heard of them, bro. You know what I mean? And I, you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. Frank Warren set up Lee Selby and set up James DeGale, in my opinion, because both of them came from Al Heyman. They were both undefeated at that time. They both had the IBF belts, and both of them lost it on their first attempts. Now maybe Sabre gets it back. I know James DeGale's got his back, but bruh, ain't it weird that both of them had the first fight with Frank Warren, they both lose? I reckon, man. I reckon maybe someone put some bets down. That's what I'm thinking.
Frank Warren's always matched people hard. Eventually, what he used to do though back in the day was rinse them out for time, like he did with Hatton and Thing, get the audience behind him or the country behind him, and then he'd thing them. But nah, I think he's under a lot of pressure as well because he's got the BT Sport deal, so he can't be putting on no joke business. And also he's got a rival in Eddie Hearn as well, so he has to rival him as well. You know what I mean? By putting on 50-50 fights. So I don't think it was bad for him to match Selby with Warrington. You know what I mean? But in another sense, I do agree. In a sense, it is probably underneath it all. There probably was a little bit of a setup because he fought in home territory. But my thing, we can't really blame Warren for that, because why didn't Eddie Hearn have him fighting in Millennium Stadium?
Yeah,
you got Anthony Joshua there.
Yeah, twice. Anthony Joshua there twice in Cardiff.
But he could have at least had one fight there.
Yeah, that's true. He could have a fight there.
Yeah, he could have. And that goes down to his manager team. Jamie Sadler, who was losing the plot in the corner when the doctor was looking to stop the fight. He looked like he was going to punch up someone. But I was looking at him. I said, listen, you're a crook, yeah? You're a crook because, hey, Eric Hunter should have had that belt a long time ago, right? And I see the same stinking referee in there was trying to interfere when Josh Warren was putting a beat in. I was looking at that referee and he was trying to do the same shit. And it weren't working, bro. Listen, that boy was going to lose his belt. Come rain or shine, Josh Warren was taking that belt. They tried to do him on the judges, and that referee was in there to interfere because the same referee, they made sure they got him from the Eric Hunter fight. How can you have in two world title fights, right? Yeah, two same fucking referees in the same world title fight. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. I'm glad he won the fight, man. I'm glad he won the fight, man.
That'd be down to Frank Warren, the appointment of the referee, because it was his. But the two negotiations between the team, the managers sit down and they agree or not agree, especially the champion. They agree that we want this referee. They can say no. Because I remember there was a referee, Andy Joshua didn't want to have him, Thingy didn't want him. They said, no, I don't want to have that referee. No, David Hay in the Bellew. Because I think they wanted Harry Foster. And David Hay said, no, I'm not having him. Find someone else. And that's what they did in the first Bellew and Hay one. So they have a say. They do have a say in that. And then they went with the same. Though. No, I know, but what I'm saying, they have a say in the managers. The managers have a say in what referee is going to be in their world title fight. Yeah, they do, that's what I'm saying to you. And they wanted that same referee who was on their side when Eric Hunter was fighting. That's what I'm saying to you. Because like, okay, you got the same referee. Because I was so pissed. That's how me and PMC met up. Because I was so pissed off about the decision. I typed YouTube and then I found PMC, and he saw the same thing I saw. And this is what they did in the Warrington fight.
I was looking at the referee trying to interfere. I was like, this motherfucker. Because what the referee was trying to do, if you really peep what he was trying to do, he was trying to make the fight stop at that point so it would go to the cards. Now, if it went to the cards, who would have won? Because remember, they had it a draw, right? Or that split decision. So who would have won on the cards? It would have been Lee Selby. That's what the referee was trying to get happen. He was trying to make it happen. Listen.
Trying to get it stopped on cuts.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to get it stopped on cuts. And he was trying, what he was doing, Lee said goes, nah, he didn't want it. He didn't want it because he's thinking, no, my boy could win. But if the fight was stopped on cuts, then they would have won on the scorecards, man. Because the referee each round the referee knows what the scorecards are, Each referee, I know he's not scoring, but the referee does know the scorecards. I know this because the referee, when he goes in the corner, he knows what's going around the cards. He can see at the table. Someone's got some noise in the background. Who is that? Like some clapping. Is that you?
The other thing as well about referees is they also keep a scorecard as well, just in case there's there's inconsistencies in that as well. Because you always see them handing a paper to the three judges at the end.
There you go. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I know this because I'm always when I do judges, I'm judging the weekend.
They hand in the results from each judge in between. Right,
they were trying to keep Warren keep his belt, bro. Selby keep his belt, and Selby ain't trying to fight no one. And like you can't Gradovich, right? You can't be holding on to any belt. And this goes to any of the champions and fighting subpar competitions. You're going to get punched up, man. Or if you don't get punched up, when you're fighting A-level opponents, it's going to take something out of you. Either way, right, you can't stay in the game fighting A-level opponent night in, night out. You need to fight them like once a year. So Donald Stevenson going into these fights, he's always fresh because he fights once a year. So he just builds his body up to that one fight or two fights. Because remember, if you hold a world championship belt, you only have to defend it once a year. So you don't have to take voluntaries. Back in the olden days, they used to defend the belt once and they used to have a lot of voluntaries. That's how they used to do it before. But these days, people don't take voluntaries, even though they're world champions. Like, why are you world champion? Why are you taking voluntaries? That's what they used to do because they wanted the money. They wanted to get paid. Back in the days, because the world championship was all right, but I need more money. So they used to take a lot of voluntaries.
What happened, EJ?
Yeah, what happened to EJ? All right, well, he muted.
No, I'm still here. I'm still talking. Okay. I'm still talking.
You went quiet there for
No, I stopped talking.
I was waiting for Dan to take his hand.
I was waiting for Dan. I was waiting for Dan.
Okay. All right.
You're jumping to sleep. You're jumping to sleep, Dan. Slap yourself with some water. Slap yourself.
Shut up. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Anyways, who's messing with you?
Hey, let's get into it. The librarian's here. EJ Librarian.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Let's talk about one more fight before I close it up, y'all. So, Gary Russell Jr. versus Jojo Diaz. I mean, that was a good fight. I like that fight. Of course, Gary Russell was the clear winner, but he fought a very game opponent, Jojo Diaz. I tell you one,
Diaz punch him up to the body early.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what though? Hey, you were there at that fight. I think you took him on that. But I can tell you one thing, man. Gary Russell, credit to him, he took them body shots pretty well, man, effectively. He didn't feel like he was affected by that.
Yeah, man. Them shots was hard, man. I could hear him from where I was sitting.
Hard. I know everybody's like, ooh. Yeah, man. Jojo Diaz, he came in there looking like a goddamn welterweight. But I'll tell you one thing. So his father's got to teach him how to move his head, man, because he was taking too many shots to the head by Russell. Too many shots. But hey, he got a good chin, but I'm not sure if that's going to hold up for much longer because it's much harder punching featherweights like like Frampton. I mean, Frampton, he punches pretty hard. He punches pretty hard.
I think as well, you had to factor in that Jojo Diaz is inexperienced. He's only 25. He was very, very busy.
Right.
But he hasn't been near the level of competition as Gary Russell Jr., even though Gary Russell's been inactive. You know what I mean? Yeah, I thought for the inactivity that he's only had 3 fights in 3 years compared to a guy who's had 14 fights in 3 years. I thought Gary Russell Jr. adapted very well. He didn't lose his composure. He listened to his trainer and stuck to his game plan. Yeah. And you saw what happens when you have faith in the trainer, the people around you, and your ability. He won that fight, man, hands down.
Yeah, he won the second half of the fight easily, wide, every single round, except the
I agree. I gave that 12th round to Diaz, because Diaz was really trying to knock him out, and I mean, I don't think he came close, but you know, you could tell that Gary Russell was tiring though. He was tiring at the end. But I will say this though, good win for Gary Russell. I definitely give him credit for that win. I do want to see him in that one unification bout against Josh Warrington. How do you think that fight would pan out?
I got Gary Russell probably. It depends on him. If he's active, the world's his oyster.
Yeah.
But if he continues the same trend, then I don't know.
But I heard him say he's not going to be more active than he want to. So,
oh man, what did he mean by that? He's going to just take.
Well, he used the whole. Well, boxing is a business, and I'm not going to fight more than I have to because it's a business. You know, everything is just business related, and I understand boxing is a business, but he just made it seem like if fighting once a year. And I'm still getting paid the way I want to get paid. I'm not going to fight more than once a year. That's just the way it came off.
Yeah. That's what he's on. That's why he deserves to get punched up. He nearly got punched up. I'll tell you that, mate. But I tell you what. That kid, if that kid had more versatility, he would have knocked him out and beat him off with. Oh my God, he killed that man. Because I tell you what, that was a good ass. He really got a good ass whipping, right? Inactivity and not fight. Dan, what your radio is loud in the background.
Somebody's loud.
Sorry, man.
It's Dan in the back. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, what I'm saying is that, like inactivity and not fighting A-level opponents will do you up, man. He doesn't want to. And you're right. I agree with what you just said there. He doesn't want to fight A-level opponents. He's going to get paid, fight once a year.
And those other champions, they trying to fight
he said that 3 years ago. He
wanted to fight Selby.
He said that. He don't listen. If he won unification, right, he would have picked his ass up from wherever he is, jumped on the plane, and come Europe because Selby's been having that belt for the longest. I told Selby, you go. I told Selby
want to fight him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to say. This is why I'm happy he lost the belt. But I think them European guys are just gonna have they're gonna fight each other, B-Mars. They're just gonna stay each other. And the guy Russell's happy doing what he's doing. I agree with you. He ain't trying to fight none of them dudes, and that's what it is, man. But it was a good ass fight. But I tell you what, his days coming. He let him know his days coming because he ain't the same no more. He didn't look strong. I know he gutted it out.
He did a lot of stuff you don't usually do. He was fighting off the back foot yesterday, going backwards.
Yeah. But this is the thing, B-Marsh.
Jay Russell don't usually do that.
No, because his inactivity. And he had to, ring Russ and shit. He had to do stuff he didn't do. But that Diaz came in big. And if the Diaz had more versatility, I reckon he would have won the fight. That guy was strong. He was big. But listen, big and strong is all good. But skill set, character, and having the will, and you're the champion, your family's there in Washington. B-Mars was cheering him on. He didn't want to lose. B-Mars was cheering him off to the finish line. He came with, B-Mars. It was a good ass fight.
Lost, man. Gary Russell, our champion, man, and hopefully he gets these unification fights, man, because like Jojo Diaz said, and I believe so, he's the best featherweight in the world. You know what I mean? Skill-wise, that's why Jojo Diaz couldn't open up in the later rounds, you know what I mean? Because Gary Russell was also throwing them combinations. He's not the most accurate, but Gary Russell knocks fellas out, and Jojo Diaz wasn't trying to get knocked out. That's why he was just walking him down with the high guard. Not really in the second half.
What do you see? He tried to do.
Yeah, they both
do that Mexican
outside of their normal style.
Well, Jojo Diaz he's not a counter puncher though, like was said. You know what I mean? He hasn't found his niche yet because he's so young. You understand? When you're fighting Tomato Cans, you have to knock him out. So we don't know what he is yet. We haven't seen. We assume he's a come forward fighter. He tried to show a bit of lack of respect for Gary Russell's power. I do think Gary Russell's not that big a hitter as well, so that played into it. But I'm going to say the same thing. He believes in his skills. He probably knew that Jojo Diaz was stronger from the first 3 rounds when he was getting them body punches. But he had faith in his trainer. I heard him in the corner. They had that metal thing with the ankh on it, putting that over his face and all sorts. He believes in his team around him, and that's what happened. He got the W, man. I have to rate him.
He also hurt his hand too.
Yes,
his right hand, which he throws that devastating right hook, and that's the hook that knocked Johnny Gonzalez out. The Irish kid who went life and death with Fortuna. What's his name? That redhead kid. I can't remember his name right now. And also the Escandon. He got caught with that left hook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, right hook from the southpaw. But that's the hand that Gary Russell hurt. So that probably was, what held him back, because Gary Russell felt he gave himself a C+ for his effort. You know what I mean? Because he said anything less than a knockout.
But I think as well, he's like an accumulative kind of puncher, but I don't think he's ever really had the power or the belief in his power, because against Lomachenko as well, that was a close fight, but still, I think that's one thing. But again, he knows that, and he's able to have, like I said, he's got the confidence in his abilities, and he stuck to his game plan, and that's what it goes to show. When you do listen to your trainer there, you can overcome anything. Even when things are going wrong, you still have to stick to tactics, and that's what you saw there.
Yeah. Well, very, very good points taken. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, man. It was a pleasure to have you guys on, as always. Had a very good hangout. Shout out to everybody here. You, Beats, B March, Low Place, he got off. EJ as always, Charlie as always.
Yeah, big up.
You couldn't take that. What?
Big up Puppy, yeah. Shame you couldn't come out on the hangout, Puppy. You know what I mean?
Oh no, come on, man. Don't start that out. No, I know
who's that? Who?
No. Don't start that, man. No, we can't have that now, man. Come on, we'll talk about that later. But come on, man. Anyways, thank for you guys to come on, and shout out to the commenters, Joe Host, Mr. Boxer Today. He said that he had Jack winning the fight. Fair enough. Ringnell, CMD Boxing Reports was there. Shout out to Ringnell. Joe Host, some of all my UK commenters, subscribers, to Dwayne Jones, Chill Zone, Black Latin Seas, all the rest of you guys, Ralph Unreal, Realistic Boxing, UK guy, Copen09, UK guy, shout out to you guys. So all you guys, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, we are out. Peace.
Peace.